Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. If you hear some background noise, it's hot. It's the summer. We got an air conditioning unit going. We don't care. Of course, Jesse's back as always.
Of course. Glad to be here, boys.
Leroy's always on the,
You're welcome for the AC.
keyboards.
I mean,
Yeah,
right.
thank you for the-
It was great.
it was upgrading equipment.
Right.
We
And
need
then,
it.
and then for those of you, Eric is not here today from DPW. Eric had some stuff to deal with, and even though he called me and apologized, I told him exactly what we say here at 13 Cards, subject to change. It's in the name.
Yes,
that,
definitely.
That, you know what, folks, look, you can come on the show whenever you want. If you got personal stuff you got to deal with, we're not going to have you try to push out. I mean, it's like we don't want anybody to come on here and half-ass the show. That's not
Yeah.
something we ever want to do.
Yeah.
Jesse's woken up having a bad night and been like, I just can't make it. And Leroy and I are like, hey, man, if you're not going to be you, there's no point in you
Yeah.
being on the show, sort of situation. So we're hoping to get Eric back at some point, but obviously today didn't work out. But you know what? It is what it is.
Oh yeah, and I gotta say this. I hope this works
Awesome!
Yeah.
because you are.
You are,
You are,
Eric.
Eric. You
Yeah.
are awesome.
You really are.
We are looking forward to have him on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
as
no,
soon
yeah,
as
can't
he-
wait.
his schedule and everything,
Yep.
so we can promote the hell out of that show that's
Man,
coming
it's
up.
coming
in
up.
August.
Yeah, it's
August
close, y'all.
22nd.
Yeah, it's
Looking
close.
pretty good,
So
too.
anyway,
day after
folks,
SummerSlam.
sadly, we have to start with the prediction that Jesse had last week that I backed up with another prediction. So Jesse and I both got a nice little tidbit in there.
Yeah.
Jesse, I'm just going to get right to it because I don't care about the rest of the show because I watched the rest of the show. It was awful. Folks, not only did they beat Jungle Boy.
I watched it too. It was
I
awful.
know. Not only did they beat Jungle Boy.
Funny enough, I'm the only one who didn't watch AEW this week.
Jesse,
You suck.
Jesse, they beat him clean.
Yeah, so I saw the highlights.
Yep.
That
They beat him clean, folks. And I just want to point this out. Even Gene in the lounge now. I love Gene. He's the professor. We love him.
Yeah.
Gene, how was this beneficial to Jungle Boy? How? I don't everybody wants to sit here and say WWE will take a star, they put him in the ring with Bobby Lashley, or they put him in the ring with Adam Cole, or they put him in the ring with Cross, and they bury him and it's over. What was the difference?
there
You got a
isn't.
guy who look, Jungle Boy needs to figure out how to talk. It's obviously not there yet. He's very
Yeah.
timid when he talks.
Yeah.
He's got to get some bass in his voice. But in the ring, he sells like he's a 12-year vet.
And he's very good in ring.
Yes.
But it's just, folks, how are you building a guy when you push him to the moon and you don't find a way to get out of the match?
Yeah.
You don't have the distraction of everybody going crazy be what forces Jungle Boy to be distracted, then you hit the one wing.
Yeah,
Like, all of the afterbirth, as Leroy mentioned earlier about
God.
trying to hit Jungle Boy with the belt, you don't do that before the bell rings?
So here's
Come
what
on,
I'm confused
y'all.
about. So I was
Go
getting
ahead. Cramps from the afterbirth, and I had to say this because I don't know what the hell was going on.
Guys.
So I was told that the Young Bucks were out there.
Yes.
The Young Bucks and the Good Brothers.
Yes.
I don't remember seeing the Bucks, but I saw
Yes,
the
they
Good
were out
Brothers.
there.
They were out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What they did was they. So this is all that happened. This is the actual.
Yeah,
thing
people.
that
I
happened.
was out making money, so I
Young-
actually did not
No,
watch
it's fine.
AEW.
That's all right. Young Bucks were out there. The Good Brothers
So they
came out
ran
there.
out
Okay.
there.
Matt Hardy came out there,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and his boys.
Jeez Louise.
It
Let me
was
explain-
an extensive
So let me
afterbirth
explain the moment that I'm talking
and more
about.
Yeah.
afterbirth.
Jurassic Express.
Okay.
First of all, Jesse's gonna get really mad for me saying this, and I'll explain why in a second. First of all, Jurassic Express came out of the crowd with Frankie Kazarian and attacked the Good Brothers on the ramp.
Okay.
But they caused a stir that didn't distract anybody. The match kept going on, and sadly, Jesse, one of the Good Brothers, I don't remember which one, but because it was so quick. But yes, your beloved Machine Gun and/or Mr. Doc Gallows, they were proven unable to stop Marco Stunt.
Why are they clowns in AEW? They're like these guys are clowns in AEW.
So
You
there,
see how quickly
It
he
was,
just jumped
yeah.
on that because he was like, "Are
What?
you kidding me right now?"
it was like Jack and the Beanstalk. He was Jack, and the guy was his giant, and he couldn't do.
So
shit
they're
about it.
having a tag team tournament on Strong. They're actually literally now building Strong as its own brand
Yeah.
in New Japan.
Yeah.
That's good.
So for people who are wondering, is New Japan actually trying to get into the U.S.? Yes, they are very strongly working out in California right now.
Yeah.
No pun intended with the strong word.
Right. Yeah.
And the Good Brothers are going to be a part of that tournament. Right now, they are favored to win that tournament, even in New Japan standards. So in Impact, they've been champions and treated very well. In New Japan, they're probably going to be treated well again.
Well, but remember, New Japan always lets you come back and do well if you did well for them in the beginning.
Yeah.
And obviously, as Jesse's timed out for us here on the show, Machine Gun was obviously there. He did a lot of work for them.
Machine Gun was going to be a guy they were going to put the world title on.
And then when Doc got there, he ingratiated himself
Yeah.
into it. He took it seriously. He didn't act like this big television star in America. He came in. He paid his dues.
To
basically.
be fair, he did exactly what John did, and that's come in and actually embrace the style and work his ass off.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not maybe some people think they put the U.S. title on John too early, that's an argument that can be had. But Doc went in there and worked his ass off. Was willing to go through the young boy system.
Yep.
Just wanted to do it right, pay his dues.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that when they go to AEW around their supposed best friends, they look like clowns.
Well, but to be fair,
why is that?
Well,
They're a better tag team.
Well, but to be fair,
Well, yeah, they are.
The Young Bucks are clowns. That's not disputable.
their real best friend is currently working in WWE. But let's be honest, AJ is at a different point in his life than everybody else. When this
Sorry,
contract's up,
you know what? You're right. The two better best friends are actually doing
Yeah.
better things in a better company.
Yeah, they are.
Finn will keep going because this is all Finn knows.
Yeah.
AJ, like he said before on Ride Along, it's his last contract. He doesn't mind being a producer, but he's in his 40s now. I mean, AJ also doesn't want to do it till he's broke down and basically dead.
I think
But-
a lot of people saw what happened to Mark Calloway and kind of hoping not to fall into that trap.
Well, I'd
Yeah.
say either him or Terry Funk. Terry
Him,
Funk is
Terry
still
Funk.
going, and
to be fair, I don't think Terry Funk cares.
Yeah, no, he just loves wrestling.
I don't think Terry Funk
No, he
cares
does.
about the injuries, about the Terry Funk is going to keep being Terry Funk till
That's
Terry
why
Funk
anytime I hear
finally,
I hear a wrestler say I want to wrestle till I die, I'm like, can you beat out Terry Funk first?
I was watching about the World Heavyweight Championship.
Can time beat Terry
And-
Funk? That's the
and
real
A
question.
little tidbit is him and his brother. They're the only two real life brothers that held 10 pounds of gold.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was
Yep.
like, wow.
That's incredible history. by the way.
I do love watching something
But yes,
and seeing something I didn't realize.
But yes, folks, Jesse
Oh,
predicted
I can't.
it. I predicted the second part of it. How you think you built a star by having him get beat flat in the center of the ring without any real distraction
Here's what's
by
going
your world champion, where once again,
Yeah.
if you're Kenny Omega, it's genius because once again, you cross another star off the list so that when you lose, they're going to be forced to bring in a big name from somewhere else because you're going to, quote, beat everybody else.
He really
We'll
is the-
explain,
he
We'll
is
explain
the
how to do this
worst.
properly. Okay, here's
Yeah.
the deal. When we get to our SmackDown section, we're going to explain how to do this properly because WWE did the same thing, but they did it right on
Yes.
Friday, and I'll explain
Oh,
why. Oh, by the
definitely,
way,
yes.
for those of you wondering, the ratings are now out for Saturday Night Dynamite and Friday Night SmackDown. I told Leroy, Jesse, would you like the ratings for this past week?
Absolutely sure.
All right, any idea? All right, Leroy, you kind of know. Any idea the range for Dynamite? Any idea?
Oh God! If we were going to say SmackDown, I was going to say probably 2.5.
SmackDown got
No, we're
one.
up there, but-
SmackDown got 1.9.
So they did 2.1 a week or two ago, SmackDown. So that's why.
So they're about in the same
growing.
range.
Yeah.
It was about 1.98. So I
That's
mean,
how good Roman has been. They
Yeah.
actually grow.
Oh,
But-
God, yeah.
8. You know what? I'm just gonna say it.
AEW 550.
Just
You're pretty close to that.
Okay.
right around that. Yeah. It
Well,
was
it's a Saturday night with things to do. I'm shocked people even watched it.
but it's like we were.
I
gonna
watched it
schedule-
later on YouTube, like 20
Same.
minutes after it was
Right?
done.
Yeah.
Because someone probably released it there.
Yep.
It was, and I'm
Here's-
like,
But it's just look. You had Conan and Tully Blanchard, and it was flat. Conan delivered a
Yeah.
decent
Wow.
promo, but it wasn't the best. Tully was good, but the problem was just these guys don't interact well because they've never been guys who should have interacted.
Yeah.
Tully's from look. They're both kind of from the same era, but they're from different places in the era.
I was gonna say that's what it is because they're both from the same.
Tully
era.
and Arn wanna
Conan
go-
just looks really good for his age.
Right.
oh, yeah.
Conan, by the way, also took a driver or a pile driver bump.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know why we did that, but we did that.
I mean,
'Cause he
with
could.
FTR,
They're
going
safe
to
workers.
protect them. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no,
they're some of the best workers in
Yeah.
the business.
But-
They protected
But
them. But
no, also on this show, there was not one, not two, but so many different. I only saw two because they were ones I watched. But Jesse, there was not one, but there were multiple Pinnacle ambushes.
Oh yes.
So there was a highlight I saw where they were interviewing MJF.
Yep.
I was going to say Hager. The big guy who
Wardlow.
eventually is going to whoop MJF's ass.
Wardlow.
Wardlow.
Yeah.
And then I just call him Adam. And then because Wardlow
works.
is a terrible name to me now. The more I hear it, because it sounds
That
like a
works.
butler. That guy does not look like a butler.
No.
Looks like a dude who legitimately whip your ass.
Yeah.
And then of course Sean Spears. I just hate the chairman gimmick. He's actually a great performer. I just hate the chairman gimmick. And MJF's cutting a good promo. So before I get into this, so I'm guessing Sammy was just doing a promo on Twitter.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara.
They also knocked Sammy out before he even got in the building. The
But here-
chairman,
With a chair.
Yeah.
Here-
the chairman had a message
Chair.
from MJF. So once again, we can't just have Sammy versus MJF straight up. And everyone's like, but heels are supposed to cut. No.
well, here's the
You're
thing.
doing this all backwards, people.
Sammy
than
cut
they
a
are.
Twitter promo saying like MJF might be legitimately a piece of shit because he in a weird amalgamated way MJF on social media basically was talking about how this time when he beats Sammy he won't have to worry about cancel culture doing it for him, of course going back to the Sammy Sasha situation.
Yeah.
And then I started to think about it.
Funny. Proof that cancel culture doesn't even know what they're trying to cancel. They gave up on that real quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sammy was gone
definitely.
for like 2 weeks, then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he was back on TV.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit.
But then the more I thought about it, MJF actually might be a legitimate horseshit human being. maybe the heel persona
has taken over the real life.
is just taking over the
Maxwell
real life
Jacob
guy for the
Friedman,
last
yes.
couple of years.
Yes, yes.
So, but
if it's making you money, why not?
yeah, but eventually it'll get you burned.
But can we just get back to a second?
But so back to the promo. So I'm watching the promo, okay, and MJF always cuts at least at minimum a very decent promo.
what bothers me is that he's not cutting them more. You can't get all this 2-hour thing, and you can't cut one match by 4 minutes to give him 2
Well,
minutes
the biggest
to talk.
problem with AEW, even after 2 years, is that they just believe in throwing this and this and this and this at you instead of having a
Through a
follow
group text,
through.
by the way.
Oh yeah.
Through a group text. Let's,
Or they
can't forget the group text.
Or the main event. This is a match. The time limit is 60 minutes, and throughout the whole freaking match, they started, we're going to stay with it, and even if it goes past the time. Shut up.
No, they don't.
Is this
I
not?
don't know why they have JR tell that lie.
Is this not proof?
They all said it.
They all said. Is
But
this not
JR said
proof
it.
to my point, Jesse? Can we stop with the time limits on a taped
Oh.
show?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Can we stop
It-
with
we
a
don't.
television show with time limit? It doesn't make sense unless one of your matches actually goes to a time limit,
Yeah.
which it never freaking does.
No.
Yeah, they don't have an Iron
And by the
Man
way,
match
this
or
show-
something. That does.
By the way, this show, I will say this: AEW, it took 2 years. They finally got something 100% right. Open every show with Hangman Page. He'll have a real wrestling match. It'll
Yeah.
actually be good.
Oh yeah.
And for some strange reason, this audience is actually reacting to it, which is weird because, like, it makes sense. But I'll get to the audience towards the end of the show because, sadly, we have to rip into our boy Eddie Kingston for the first time because Eddie fucked up on this show.
Yeah, we got to talk about
see
that.
that.
Because,
That was
but
after
anyway.
all the
Yeah.
the afterbirth of
But we
Christian
need to get back
Cage
to
and
this whole.
Mads.
They did a great job with Jungle Boy. How? He got beat center of the ring. And by the way, don't give me this crap.
If
And-
in 2 weeks he gets beat by Miro, then we have a real problem.
but here's the deal.
Could happen.
Gene made legitimate points. It's sad, but he made legitimate points. I was sold that he might actually beat Kenny, this, that, yada, yada. Well, good. So he understands the in-ring psychology of it. But what was the point of Kenny being the smarmiest, most hated heel in AEW with one of the most vile managers, even though enough of this whole Don Callis has Paul Heyman beat. Paul Heyman is
I
God
was wondering
status
if we're
of
going to
manager.
discuss that. It's
Oh,
like,
what? Time out. Before Jesse even rips into it, what is there to discuss?
there
I don't
isn't.
want to discuss it because what is there to discuss? Don Callis, by the way, Don
This is Don
Callis
Callis.
was brought into the wrestling business by Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
So
You
we're not.
can't.
Do you want me to say my 2 words on that?
What do you got?
It's bullshit. Paul Heyman can sell you air. Don Callis can't sell you a beater.
To Paul
It's
Heyman,
bullshit.
he can sell
Ice to an Eskimo.
Paul
ice and
Heyman.
snow to an Eskimo.
Does anyone remember the movie with Leo? What was it called? Money something. Wall Street or not Wall Street?
Wolf
the
of
one-
Wall Street.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall
Where
Street.
he said, where Matthew McConaughey's character went to him and said, "Sell me this pen." Paul Heyman can sell you a pen. He can
day.
sell you a pen
All day long.
He'll promote the pen like it's the best thing in the world, and you're like, "Damn, let me give you $10 for that pen." That's
Also-
how great he is.
Also,
Don Callis can't sell you on wiping your own ass after you take a dump.
Also, whether you like it
Yeah.
or not, the lights out and someone appearing. Paul Heyman brought that to
Yes.
the wrestling business. Paul Heyman is not to the level of Jim Cornette, in my opinion, but he can actually say, like Jim Cornette created the triple threat, Paul Heyman brought something to the wrestling business that everybody uses.
That's a different discussion for another time between Paul and Jim. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't fans. No, and I've seen some people start to kill that was starting to come out of Don Callis might be a better promo than Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman is good when he's Paul Heyman's good when he's got the leash of Brock Lesnar. He's also good when he's on the leash of Roman Reigns. Don Callis, dude, what have you really done outside of this that people remember he was the Jackal.
Yeah, he was the Jackal.
But no one talks about the Jackal because nobody remembers the Jackal.
They were a pretty awful group.
Have you seen the video where he is talking to a crowd, Paul Heyman, about Brock Lesnar beating the Undertaker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was being Paul Heyman talking about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was better than anything Don Callis ever done in his life. And Paul was like,
Paul
hey,
Heyman.
Did Brock want?
Here's what I will
maybe
give-
Brock wanted to do this.
Don Callis
You
gets
know? Oh,
credit
God.
to me because the only thing he gets credit for, which by the way I should wipe away because the deal between Impact and AEW has just been horrible.
That's
but
still
we'll get
a
to
thing.
that later.
That's still a thing.
Yeah, unfortunately,
His-
it's still very one-sided as well.
We even
It's
gave up
ex-
talking about it,
it's-
and
I
we're the only
know.
ones talking about it. Ugh.
but
Somebody beats him finally.
originally he was responsible for a lot. Well, he, Tommy Dreamer, and Scott D'Amore
Yeah.
were very responsible for a lot of the good of Impact you've seen the last 5 years.
Right.
So he does get credit for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
He gets a third credit.
no. Because if it was Paul Heyman that took over that company, they would be on TV competing with Vince McMahon
Do
right
people
now.
not realize?
There's a reason Paul decided, I'll just work for him.
Do people
I'm
not
tired
realize?
of competing against him.
Do people
Oh,
not
yeah.
realize the entirety of ECW? And I'm not taking away from the stars of ECW because they're all great. They all did their thing.
Yeah.
They all sold like death.
Like gangbusters.
But here's the
yes.
deal: that 100% of creative was basically Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What for better or for worse? The stories that have come out.
It was all Paul.
It was
On the
Paul.
pizza box or napkins, it was
and
there.
that was the problem at the end is that Paul was not the business side of
Yeah.
things, but
He needed an actual business partner, really.
But okay, back. So this ties into the theme. Where does it make sense? Because again, I'm gonna actually say it out loud, and I want to see if this makes sense to anyone when you hear this. Because I've learned in sports, especially the last couple of weeks, when you say things out loud, they have to make sense.
yeah.
One of that being the LA Clippers, but we'll get to that later. Here's the deal.
That's a whole different
If
show.
I say this out
I'm
loud,
sure I'll get to that.
if I say this out loud, that Don Callis gets fired from Impact, shows up on Dynamite, and is still sitting there acting like he's on top of the damn world, when all he is Kenny's lackey, even though they have that awkward photo together in the house, that was still a thing that was put on television. People give WWE shit for the Goon and Doink the Clown, but that was something you put on television.
Well, Kenny does a lot of questionable things.
Anyway, But no, back to my
Living off
point.
the
Let's put
legacy
this
of
in context.
Tanahashi and
You
Okada.
take a kid. His mother's in the crowd. He can sell better than most people that have been in the business for 12 years. He sells better than them because he just has a natural baby face charisma
Yeah.
that you can't teach.
No.
It's just there.
No.
His father passed away. May he rest in peace. They've stopped calling him Jack Perry. They finally stuck to just Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
But
They did reference that a couple
well, they
times.
reference his father,
Which is fine.
but they've stopped saying Jack Perry, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Pick it. Is he Jack Perry or is he Jungle Boy? He's not Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and then Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He's one of those three things. But now he's Jungle Boy. I get it. He is beloved by this crowd. But he's got all this stuff. The crowd's behind him. You love him. He can't get a win one-on-one, but we're supposed to believe in this guy, and then he gets the loss, and I'm supposed to just all of a sudden give him the stone cold build-up based off of a battle royal where all the other guys beat themselves up. Stone Cold got himself to the damn top.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Stone Cold ran through DX. Stone Cold ran through the Authority and the corporation. He ran through the Undertaker. He ran through the biggest names in the history of the business. He did not get in a and yes, he's a 3-time Royal Rumble winner, but at the end of the day, we understand the point of the Royal Rumble that you don't just get the title shot, you have to build to the title shot because they've taken the title shot away before in the Royal Rumble. But it's just, folks, I'm supposed to believe in 2 weeks that after a battle royal that was horse shit to begin with,
Yeah.
that the only thing anybody actually remembers was, quote, Leo Rush is no longer going to finish wrestling because of it.
Yep.
I'm supposed to, in 2 weeks, and you barely featured him on the last Friday Night Dynamite.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he was featured on Friday Night Dynamite
Well,
the
he
week
wasn't
after.
featured, but he was there. They don't feature
there,
anybody.
But that's my point. In 2 weeks, I'm just supposed to wait. And by the way, I swear to God, if during the freaking opening match they mentioned one more goddamn time about the main event, I swear to Christ, I was gonna rip my freaking TV off the goddamn hinges. Because the fact is like, fine, I know what the main event is. Do I really need a graphic and then all three of you mention it twice? Really? I need that.
They think
And then
that's what we
Taz
need.
also has to comment on it? No! Concentrate on a match that I know is foreign to AEW because it's actually 2 wrestlers, Powerhouse Hobbs, who, by the way, once again, finally selling that he's a heel,
Yep.
and it's the Hangman. But how is this good for Jungle Boy when he gets beat flat in the center of the ring with the one-wing angel? Not, the distraction, made me look at it and then Kenny just caught me from behind. No, you countered the one-wing angel twice. One with a poison Rana, which no one's seen yet. And love or hate Kenny, he knows how to take these dumbass moves correctly. That's why he's always healthy.
Well, yeah.
But, really? You're telling me that I'm supposed to all of a sudden believe that Jungle Boy can be a future star when he got beat flat in the center of the ring? He's got no heat from Kenny. Kenny tried to get it back in the afterbirth, but we all know how Kenny gets heat. And to Leroy's point, off camera, you weren't even here, Jesse. To Leroy's point, how many V-triggers can we hit in a goddamn match?
See,
In a video game, you hit the same move 6 times because you only got 4 moves.
I think there was 4 or 5 that he did.
To be honest, there was probably more. It's just he didn't always hit his thigh as he did it. Because here was the thing: in New Japan,
At least when the Usos hit that big boot that happened on Friday and knocked out Dolph, at least there was no thigh slap, so we heard a bad sound. It's like that thing was flush on the button, and then you had Dolph who could sell it.
Yeah.
But back to this.
Yeah.
So Kenny was limited in his matches against Okada, he had I think Gato gave him a limit of 6 in a match because they would usually have 50 to 60 minute matches. So if you're going to tell that kind of a story, and you're going to hit that move, make it actually mean something. Because it's New Japan.
Not to mention the fact,
It's a very classy
not
organization.
to mention that they were giving them 45 minutes to
Yeah,
an hour.
well, that's what I'm saying.
You hit one every 10 minutes, it adds to it.
It
But this
has
was
some
only a
impact.
half-hour match, and I got 5. Like, no. Once again, to the eye test.
I don't even know why they're called AEW. It should be called Get My Shit in Wrestling. Like
Here's the deal.
Yeah,
Here's the
it
deal.
definitely should.
GMSW.
The
There
eye
you go,
test,
guys.
There you
the
go.
eye test matters in the sense that once every 10 minutes makes more sense than once every 6. Sorry, folks. Your eyes work like my eyes. It's human nature. But it's just, I'm supposed to believe in Jungle Boy being a legit contender when he just lost to the guy who, let's be honest, is probably going to hold it for the rest of the year.
Probably not though.
Right.
Because they don't believe in proper storytelling.
Well, if they would have done it right, they wanted.
You mean not have this match for, I don't know, until
No.
fucking September?
They could have still had the match, but
Get out of it in
the dumb ass afterbirth, whatever he was trying to frickin' do. When Jungle Boy was getting him, he should have grabbed the belt
in the middle of the match.
in the middle of the match. The referee see him smack him in the head.
Throw it out.
Jungle Boy gets a DQ win.
Throw it out.
There you go. That's how it is.
I would have preferred.
And then
I would have preferred that the elite hunter Frankie Kazarian, which by the way is not a bad way to
No.
book Kazarian, but I would have preferred if Dwarf Dong Sucker, Dino Douche. I just realized those are both
they kind of match.
those are both alliterations.
Oh my god.
Dino Douche and Dwarf Dong Sucker. And then Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, if they would have fought into the ring
Yeah.
with the Good Brothers, and then the referee just threw the whole thing out. Yeah, your crowd's going to boo, but Eddie, we'll get to you in a second. That's not always the worst thing in the
No.
world. We'll get to you in a second.
But Jungle Boy could have gone over.
He would have
with
gone
that.
over without
They
taking
could-
and he
out.
would have
going
had
with
heat
the
for
story.
months.
Yes.
You could have built that. And by the way,
And when
here's-
is their next
Here's what they're
pay-per-view?
not getting.
Shit.
July?
September? The
Or
one
is it
about
September?
to
Okay.
late August, early
Okay,
September.
but here's the deal.
in
Here's the deal.
Chicago.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, okay.
We talk about Kenny being a smarmy heel. For better or for worse, he's a smarmy ass heel.
He's something.
Here's the deal. Hear
Fucking
me out.
something.
They're,
Oh, my
they're not
Lord,
going to
yeah.
do this because Jesse already pointed out that they can't book correctly.
Oh,
Hear
no, they
me
can't.
out. You could have built for 3 months.
Yes.
Kenny could have JBL'd the crap out of this, ducked the right guys, ducked the Undertaker, and been like, I'm going to face Shannon Moore,
Yeah.
Yep.
which he did do.
Yes, he
But That's
did.
a great heel move.
But the thing about it is that you could have had Jungle Boy
They're
sit
not
there.
smart enough for that.
No, they're not. Because Jungle Boy could have sat there, and he could have lived off of, I beat you, Kenny. Whether you like it or not, you didn't beat me. They could have lived off of that for 2 to 3 months.
Absolutely.
And then Kenny could have beaten him, but then you still could have... See, this is the problem with indie wrestling. And I love indie wrestling, but this is the one criticism that I have is when the heel wins clean. It
Yeah.
was never done in the territories. It's not supposed... And by the way, everyone's like, well, clean doesn't mean... Well, clean means no outside interference. No, clean means there was no... dirty, underhanded tactic by the heel. The heel
Well-
didn't get in trouble with the referee. This was just a straight wrestling match, which again, I love wrestling. I love straight wrestling matches. But why in the hell does it have to be to a guy who is supposed to be your future star when Kenny will be back in Japan booking for a bad death match company?
Yeah. I don't
Not
like you say
Oneida.
is-
Not Oneida.
like you say, it's
I'm not throwing Oneida into that.
everybody's like,
Trust me, you don't have to clear that up with me.
well, as everybody looks at clean win, whatever, the heel. It's like, yeah, look back at the Independence where they used to do it. Our buddy Darren when he beat Airwolf at our first show. Yeah, he did a bad heel move behind the referee's back and won. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
By the way, congratulations on your win recently, Darren.
Yeah,
did
he
just
had
get a
to
win
unfortunately eat some ass from Devon.
most of
Have you seen Devon
Yeah.
perform?
He
He does that in the turnbuckle eat his ass move or
I don't want
I'm
Darren.
not-
I don't want
I-
Darren to feel like I'm being facetious. But I'm not saying I'm not, but congratulations on your win. All I'm saying is I don't want to get hit in the balls, so I'm not going to clarify if I'm being facetious or not.
Anyway.
You're
'Cause
all,
we will see him when we go to...
you're
Yes,
okay.
yes,
After a little ice, it's all right.
but
He's
no.
a big guy, though. I don't know if I want to take that ball shot.
But I know people are
Well, he's
looking
not
at
much
me.
bigger than us.
People are looking at me, and people are trying to say, "Well, you're not really explaining it." What do I have to explain?
Yeah.
You beat him clean in the center of the damn ring.
With no distractions.
If
like that.
if you're a wrestling fan and that isn't egregious enough as
Well,
it
here's the
is,
thing, people-
what are you doing?
People killed WWE for that, though.
People kill the WWE for having the roll-up be the most dangerous move in wrestling, but at least there's
Oh,
a
yes.
distraction that leads to it.
Yeah.
At least there's a heelness to it.
You know what they're
Well,
going to do next?
Even though I agree Bobby Lashley should have won in Hell in a Cell, we'll get into that, by using the Hurt Lock as opposed to a roll. I get that. But again, eye test that
You're
was...
still trying to keep Drew strong.
Exactly.
So you did a distraction finish inside Hell in a Cell, which is not a big deal.
No.
We'll get into that.
But like I said, though, here's the thing. Here's going to be my concern as far
Just
as...
because I'm not explaining it for like 5 minutes straight doesn't mean that I'm that I'm wrong when I
Well,
say,
see-
why do I need to explain it longer than 30 seconds that this was a bad look, this was dumb booking, and by the way, once again, Kenny gets to cross another star off the list of who do you put up against him now?
If Jungle Boy
Okay.
loses to Miro in the next 3 months, and I'm scared to predict it because I feel it might happen,
Oh, you know
then you haven't built shit.
do you know who the next person they're burying now too? Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, they've
'Cause
been
he's
burying Brian
Well,
from
no,
the moment the documentary came
they're
out.
gonna bury him more because he's fighting Miro.
Yep.
I'm like,
Oh, it's worse than that. They're the #1 tag team right now.
oh,
Varsity
God.
Blondes.
Yeah.
Didn't they just
They're getting-
lose?
They just
a world title
lost.
match, and then haven't they not really
But-
won anything?
Well,
since?
they've won on Dark and Dynamite, or Dark and Dark Elevation.
they're-
You know,
they're-
the 2
but
television
they're-
shows they don't even talk about.
But they're not giving them a match. Next Wednesday, it's going to be Kingston is in Penta against the Young Bucks for the title.
First of all, they
like, what
just
the-
need to do away with the fucking rankings.
I know.
Because,
They were a good idea, but if you're not going to use them, why the hell are we
well,
doing
when
this?
you don't know how to book around them, then they're
But
a terrible fucking
So you know
idea.
what? You know what they're going to do next with Omega and Jungle Boy? Jungle Boy's going to team up with Christian Cage against Kenny and somebody.
And then Christian's going to turn on
Maybe.
Jungle Boy, but the problem is like now you got a heel versus a heel.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
I
any
don't know.
sense.
I don't know if they're gonna do anything like that, but I see, I see Cage working together with Jungle Boy against Kenny and the boys.
But the problem is like,
Which
what's the
makes
point?
no sense.
Yeah, but okay, but hold on. But then what's the point of Jungle Boy being the feature over Cage? Because Cage doesn't have a loss against Kenny. Jungle Boy does.
I was going to say, Kenny, the only person Cage lost to was John Moxley.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so did Kenny. Twice. But there's only one on there, technically.
Right.
Because the one
But
wasn't synced
no,
up.
no.
Yeah.
But it's just, folks. Enough is enough with this goddamn crap. That, oh my God, what an amazing match. Fine, they're athletic. I get it. Even Joey Janela can have a match that I can appreciate.
I will say that it would
Between
be,
the ropes.
It would be hard for any of them not named Kip Sabian, and I will continue to bury him on any wrestling show I'm on, to have a bad match. Because that roster, which, by the way, is starting to look a little bloated, is filled with guys who are capable of having great
It's been
matches.
bloated.
But
for a
remember,
while.
at least they're keeping them employed, even if they're doing absolutely jack shit.
You know what?
with them.
Fuck it. We're just going to get into the Eddie Kingston shot. Listen.
Let's do it.
Listen. Kingston, I love you.
I
love you.
We have given
Hold
you
on.
nothing but love.
Hold
this
on,
show.
hold on. Let
Yes,
me
we
get
have,
through this.
we have.
Let me get through this because this is my man's from New York.
This is.
This is my guy.
Yep.
Shut up. Shut up. You and the rest of AEW, shut up. Can you get your house straight first before you worry about the guys making $1 billion more than you'll ever make right now?
And
Can you clean your house first?
aren't in the red due to a video game.
Oh my God. Yes, they
Yep.
did all these cuts. They did all these releases. It's horrible. I get it. But guess what?
They're still better than you.
Guess what? If you guys
They're
sign
not
those,
in the red.
if you sign most of those guys today, you only use probably 2 of them. You used 2 of
You'd
them.
be lucky if they used one.
The other ones will get buried.
Killian Dane's better going back to the UK
Which
scene
is probably what exactly is what
and
he'll
clean
do.
that up.
Yes.
Yeah.
If anything, hey, here's a novelty idea. The island of the UK is not that big. They cut him from NXT. Why doesn't Triple H or Shawn Michaels just throw him back in NXT UK?
Listen,
He might
Why
end up there.
not? He's
He might
already
end-
there.
He might end
I mean,
up
listen,
there.
he did bring Joe back as kind of a guy. He brought Drake Maverick back.
Well, they
There's-
didn't tell him about Joe. It's been reported. They didn't tell Triple H they
Well,
cut Samoa Joe.
So, to give WWE some heat, there's clearly a disconnect between what Triple H does in NXT and all the people on the main roster.
there's an incredible disconnect.
There's an incredible disconnect.
But back to our boy Eddie, and I'm just
No, and then you
This,
try to
this
put
flows into another
and then
category.
and then you
too,
literally
after
just
this.
try to put over a guy who Zach just waxed on, got beat clean. And I get he's the future of the company, but no.
This was not the night
No.
to put over Jungle Boy.
By
No.
the way, I hate to say this because this is the first time I've actually seen Penta without the makeup. Doesn't he look like a Mexican shorter version of Abyss?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit,
He
yeah.
does a little, yes.
But overall, just shut up. Bridge burn. What bridge?
You were never there.
You weren't there. You got? Are you still bitter that they didn't offer you the money you thought you deserved when you were talking about going there like 3 or 4 years ago? And yes, maybe they should have brought you on. It probably would have helped a lot what's going on in the main roster because you're an experienced guy. Paul Heyman could have worked with you, of course. But if you're still this damn bitter, just shut up. Like, I am so tired of the constant shots from AEW. They're like children. Just
know.
constant stupid
You-
shots.
Such great flow because that goes to one of our topics we have I put on there. Are we tired of all the shots they are
Yes.
doing in the WWE?
Yes. It's old. Like you guys have now been on the air for 2 years. The show's gotten I think the show's gotten messier. I thought
God,
the
yes, it has.
first 2 months actually weren't too bad. The shows used to have kind of a flow, even though you were still trying to figure things out. The wrestling was a little shit because you still let these guys work all those indie dates without actually working together.
Yeah.
But otherwise, at first I thought, you know what, as long as they kind of hedge their bets on all right, be careful on the indie dates because if you're going to have a match with someone, you should probably work with them. I'm like, I think the show will get better. I think it'll be a good little counter point of television on Wednesday nights to SmackDown and Raw because you're not going to have better matches than NXT.
No.
There's probably only one American company that does that constantly, and that's NWA Power.
Yeah.
And that's just because we love old school wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
And what Billy Corgan and what they're doing over there is fucking magical.
And we
people,
don't
you
actually
should watch
know
them.
what's going to happen with Strong if it does start to become its own thing.
It probably
They-
might become even
they might-
better than that.
They might sell it to an actual TV
yeah.
company.
Yeah.
So here's
This is not a shot, but somebody put MLW on TV, but MLW and Strong are kind of the same thing to the TV people, not the
Yeah.
wrestling people.
I would
but
love
to the
to see
TV
someone
people.
give. I was in a chat on Reddit.
Yeah.
And I just started the chat. I'm like, should Billy go to like CBS and try to get a Thursday night slot for like an hour for NWA Power because he might actually do really great numbers.
Oh yeah.
Just for an
Oh,
hour,
God, yeah.
an hour of television that they tape because they do it very well now.
Yeah.
Of what they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And I think for the old school fans, they might be like, "Wow, wait, this is some of the stuff I grew up with. This is kind of cool."
Well,
So-
the way they have it set up is a lot like how they used to.
But yes,
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of the constant shots. Your shit don't smell like roses. Okay? Stop worrying about what WWE does. Trust me, there's
And by
an
the way,
amalgamation of shit with WWE.
And by the way, back to my point of his. Okay, let's break down a little bit about what he said.
You can break it down.
They don't listen to their fans. Well, guess what? Sometimes the fans ain't right. Sorry, they're not.
You know what? Let me throw this out there, and I'm not talking about the listeners of 13 Cards Subject to Change. You guys are great, but sometimes
Greatest listens ever.
greatest
Awesome.
listeners and subscribers ever. By the way, remember to make sure that if you are subscribed, get your friends to subscribe as well.
53 on YouTube. We're almost there to
Let's,
100.
let's keep
Your
building.
moms, your girlfriends, your boyfriends.
Doesn't matter.
We have a
This-
lot of views from non-subscribed people.
Yes.
We're getting views on YouTube, folks.
So yeah, just
Oh, we got a hit from Russia this week, too.
We did, yeah.
Again.
So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and pump it up, and I
Yeah.
will have another video out at some point tonight. I had a computer issue this week,
It's all good.
but there is a toxicity in wrestling fandom.
Yep.
A lot of it, and for English speaking, starts with that AEW fandom.
Yep.
Because as bad as like the blind eye of some of the WWE fan base can be, the toxicity inside of AEW, I hate WWE, I hate everything. You don't even like wrestling without WWE. But like, let's be real. As much as the problems that they've had.
If I'm Vince, I'm gonna write the Bucks a check for $1 million to be like, hey, technically, yes, you made this because of me, but here's $1 million to stay away from me.
By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
he offered them 6 figures 5 years ago.
He did.
So as much as they want to talk about we're the alternative, you almost signed. Kenny last second decided not to sign because he was getting ready to put his name on the dotted line because maybe he saw the shit through the trees on this.
The problem is let's be honest here. They would have signed Kenny as a name. He would have gotten there, and half the beginner class would have been like, "What?" Or
Well,
"What
what's
do
funny
you
is
do?"
he would have
been
got
on
buried.
NXT.
He would have been buried in the mid card, probably where he deserves to be, because now I am full on in. You are living off the legacy of Kazuchika Okada,
and Gato.
Tanahashi,
Yep.
and Gato. You know what? Screw it all. Throw God in there as well.
Why not?
Can we even say AJ? Because at least AJ was at least somewhat
No, because
believable. in Japan.
AJ Finn and now Jay White are totally like they're actually believable leaders, great wrestlers. Like they're believable leaders of Bullet Club.
I'm just gonna say it. Is there any better heel worldwide? And if they do ever get a partnership, God, would it be just great to watch? I don't care who's the heel, who's the face. Is there any better heel in wrestling? Right now, I think it's Roman and King Switch 1 and 1.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
We could argue for hours who's better because here's the deal. Jesse will obviously take the King.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
take the head
gotta
of the
be honest.
table, but
I mean,
but-
if you ask me who my top 2 wrestlers are, it switches every day between King Switch.
But
and
the
Roman
point
Reigns.
is, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
point is that Jesse and I could sit here for 2 hours, and I could take Roman, he could take King Switch. The problem is that I can't deny what he's going to say about King
Yeah.
Switch, but there's no way you can deny what I'm saying about
absolutely
Roman.
not. Absolutely,
That's
not.
the thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
But it's just, folks, we're sitting here, and it's just once again, it's all right. You think you're okay. AEW thinks they're the saying, if you're gonna come at the King, you better not miss.
Yes.
First of all, you can't even hit the freaking Jester, so don't worry about the King.
Dude, they can't hit the Butler.
And number 2,
No, wait a minute.
guys.
I'm going to go old school, say they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn right now, all right?
They are Joe Webb
With-
throwing the football for the Vikings.
With a bazooka.
No. Hold on.
They can't.
Good reference. Good reference.
Yes.
Guys, I'm sorry. We have to go to the lowest form of misses in the history
shit.
of all entertainment.
Oh,
you
Lord.
guys aren't even stormtroopers on the Death Star.
Wow, that's I
Guys,
that was good. Yeah,
Guys.
I'd agree with that.
guys, they hit more Jedi with blasters than you've hit on stars. In
They didn't
AEW.
hit many.
They didn't hit any.
They
They didn't hit any.
They hit more Ewoks, unfortunately.
But no, folks.
Right.
But no, folks. Here's the deal. You have been living off of one thing, and I'm sorry. And by the way, based on where Dynamite's been going, if you actually follow the Jim Cornette experience, which by the way on YouTube every week is going up 1,000 subscribers. I joined
good.
when they were about 140,000. That was like a little over a year ago. They're now in the 220s. So
Yeah, I'm subscribed.
Jim Cornette's actually catching up on just YouTube clips than what you're doing on national TV.
Well,
but anyway, hold on.
It's actually good to listen to.
They're
see?
listening to Jim because their show is starting to mimic a little bit of what Jim and Brian are saying.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been ridiculous.
But
how
here's the
close
deal,
he is
folks.
Nowadays,
Y'all listen, and we're consistent with what we say.
yeah.
Y'all are also consistent, but the problem is that you guys think that your shit don't stink. What? And the problem is that last night Kenny was actually Kingston, I apologize. Eddie was right.
Yeah.
They listened to the fans. The problem is every time one idiot in his basement tweets out a negative thing about WWE, Tony Khan and the EVPs jump on the opposite. Yeah. You release these superstars, we'll sign them. You don't want to give this legend that enough money, you want to use them right, we'll bring him in and we'll do what we want to do with him, but we're going to pay him more. And it's like, it's an expense off of Vince's books. He still texts, Paul White and Mark Henry probably twice
all
a
the
week,
time,
and they're making more money.
Yep.
But you release someone, they release someone, you sign them. They release a bunch of people, you keep everyone else and keep paying them even though they ain't done shit for you, and you're not even featuring them on Dark. They have a great women's division. You have a shitty women's division. You're doing the opposite here, boys. But no. It's just
they haven't put out a video game yet. WWE has.
Without
they're not in the red for it.
Without any interruptions from these two for just a second, if I may.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you are
literally doing everything that the fans want, but the fans don't know how to book a wrestling show because your fan base are the indie darling fans. Mm-hmm. Again, I love me some indie wrestling, but I'm not going to sit here and act like the actual overall show is up to par with Raw and SmackDown. And yes, I'll throw Raw in there because you can't even beat Raw's ratings. And it's atrocious to watch. It's hard after an hour, let alone 3.5. But it's just one of those situations where, like, folks, you signed all these guys. You're paying them. You're in the red not because of a video game. You're in the red because your labor costs out of control because you're paying a bunch of dudes who don't even sit in catering. They're sitting at home somewhere, and it ain't even the Jacksonville area.
Yeah.
These guys go to these indie shows, and because Tony Khan's a fucking moron and doesn't put in an insurance clause, they could get hurt. They could do stupid shit, and they're allowed to do stupid shit. And guess what? Tony's going to keep paying them because he's a fan, he's a friend, he's a colleague. And, it's sad. And send me whatever hate you want. I've come to hate on the Brody Lee tribute show more, and here's why. You could do whatever you wanted. I didn't care because it was a tribute show. But the more I watched Tony Khan, and I understand it was to his boy. It was to his son. His wife was there. I believe 10 was in the ring with her.
Yeah.
The greatest TNT champion, no disrespect, looks at Cody. It's not calling him the greatest champion ever because, again, it was his son. Mm-hmm. But it was off TV, so you can say whatever you want. But to even infer the Cody thing, again, it's an aesthetic that's there, and it's just odd, and everyone's like, but it was a tribute. No. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still the essence of who Tony Khan is as a person. And when it comes to this, you can't get a soccer team right. You can't get a football team right. Here, you want to know how you get a football team right? You let Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong do whatever the hell they want. You shut your goddamn mouth. Because Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong got more football in their goddamn pinky than you got.
I just want to infer that's his daddy. His daddy's smart at that.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, we talked about it last week, but when his daddy's smart about that, but
his daddy does let him spend up all that
money.
Smart
telling him and his sister, spend the money while I'm here and blow all this crap while I'm still alive.
But the point is that we're not here to talk about finances. We're here to talk about just the visual of Tony Khan. It's painful. It's annoying. You're sitting here looking at me and you're taking a shot and saying that Double or Nothing was better than the last two WrestleManias. So you picked the two in a pandemic. No,
they weren't that better.
No, they weren't.
No. Before we just blatantly answer the question, no, it wasn't. You picked the two WrestleManias that took place in the only pandemic that's happened in your daddy's lifetime. Mm-hmm. But you don't pick WrestleMania 1, you don't pick WrestleMania 4, you don't pick WrestleMania 20, you don't pick WrestleMania 25, you don't pick WrestleMania 30, you don't pick WrestleMania 14, 15, 16. I could go on. You don't even pick Starrcade.
They were all better than that.
I know! But my point is this. You are sitting here and
Hell,
you are...
the one with no fans actually might have been a little better period than some of the other shows.
Yep. But my
Yeah.
point is this. Bro, you do not throw knives at a man that's got a machine gun. Well, Vince McMahon don't need a machine gun. He's got the nuclear bomb codes, and you got a goddamn water pistol.
See, the problem is, you know what? Here's another.
I love you, Roddy.
thing.
I miss you.
Here's another opinion
Yes.
that might get us some hate, but I'll take it. Whatever. Cody, I hate to tell you, but you put your lot in with the wrong lot. WWE has better top tier talent. Period. Ricochet, while yes, he doesn't do a lot, he will be a Money in the Bank.
Yep. We'll
Is-
talk about that in a little bit. Yeah.
He's a lot better than a lot of the wrestlers you have.
Yep.
I think Baron Corbin sometimes can be boring, but as a performer, he's a lot better than a lot of what you have.
I hate to say it. Shin versus Baron was better than anything AEW's done in the amount of time that they've had it. But they've mostly just given up. They said, Shinsuke,
WWE took a guy.
we're going to give you Boogs. And Shinsuke,
Exactly.
And by the way, the brilliance of Shinsuke, because everyone's like, well, because I saw people on Reddit ask the question,
Yeah.
was Shinsuke happy about it? Shinsuke Nakamura has taken nothing.
He's clearly having a lot of fun with
Shinsuke
it.
don't give a shit
He is
what
having
you
a
give him.
ball with it.
And Boogs is just what Boogs I'm jealous of. You want to know why? He's going on he's going on a ride with the King of Strong Style, and that's better than anything he's ever done.
I mean, think about it, though. This is a guy who's been a little green in the ring. He's been in their program for about 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And they said, you know what? You're so damn charismatic. We got to do something with you.
Yep.
So what does Paul Heyman do? Give me this guy.
Yep.
I know exactly what to do with this guy.
Marcus said it in the lounge. Everyone on SmackDown has a purpose. Everyone on SmackDown knows where they're going, knows what they're doing. And by the way, you could give me KO versus Sammy another 90 times. It's still going to be better.
And that's why when people hate on WWE, but here's the thing, you hate on the cuts because you know that the talent is better. It's better.
Jesse has said it, and we might as well knock it out. We don't agree with the hoarding of talent that they
No.
did. But at the same
Which
time...
is why Nick Khan is
Yes.
cleaning that up now.
But at the same time, Jesse, Vince, at the beginning of COVID, didn't know what was going to happen. But Nick Khan, love him or hate him, Nick Khan is looking past pandemic,
Yes.
post-pandemic. Nick Khan at least has that vision of our roster doesn't need to look like this because, let's be honest, we didn't want to... Because remember, they said... Mark Cuban said it best. What your company does during COVID is going to define what they are for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Quick Trip Incorporated did a great job during COVID. Don't have a problem with what they did.
I love the place.
WWE giving people at least the financial security, the safety, all that stuff.
They kept paying him for 4 months. So as much
Yep.
as you hate the cuts, they kept paying him until
Yep.
they found something else.
But the fact of the matter is
Yeah.
this. The fact of the matter is this. Nick Khan, love him or hate him, say he knows the wrestling business or not, he's a businessman and he's looking he's looking through the forest at the trees.
yes.
He can see the trees through the forest. He sees that regardless of what the rest of the world feels right now in this moment, there is a life post-COVID.
Mhm.
Leroy's 2 kids are going to be teenagers at some point. That's your problem, not ours. But they're going to be teenagers at some point. The world didn't end because of COVID-19.
No.
No, and I'll whip their ass when they're teenagers anyways.
Might be a little more legal at that point. Anyway,
Nobody will see it.
but the point is,
Send them out to the farm.
but the point is this: is that Nick Khan. There is actually an argument to be made that every cut that has happened under Nick Khan's watch actually made sense.
I will actually make a sport analogy with Nick Khan
Cool.
because it's near and dear to my heart. As you all know, I'm a New York Jets fan,
Regrettably.
but
I pray for you. for that.
the new GM and head coach have made moves that there's a lot of moves that we didn't like, but you see they clearly have a vision.
You ended up with just all I gotta say is you ended up with Elijah Moore. You actually got
Yeah.
Elijah Moore. That's a hell.
Like
of
we ended up with great talent, even though we let talent go. Okay, after what happened a couple of years before. There's a plan in place. Nick Khan has clearly put a plan in place. Now, the only problem that I have with Nick Khan so far is the non-communication with Triple H, because this is the guy you're going to have to work with.
Yes.
I mean, Vince has always been kind of bad at it because he just goes, yeah, I'll take you guys, and then just, they've been bad at times but creative with it.
Yeah.
But for Nick Khan, the businessman, I think, and I know WWE will probably, because remember, Stephanie owns most of the company now.
Yep.
He's going to have to learn to work with her husband, or he won't be there very long.
Yes.
Oh, she'll
So-
get it.
Nick, here's what people have to realize. I don't care how many shares he may or may not actually have. Nick Khan is on the board. It don't mean you're an owner.
No.
No.
At this point,
And by the way,
Stephanie is very close to the principal owner.
yes, and also I don't think Stephanie's the type of kid who's just going to sell the company off when Dad's
So,
not
yeah,
around.
I'm at the
Yeah.
point now where I'm like, I don't think they're actually selling the company.
No.
But what Nick Khan
I
is trying
never
to
would.
do is he's trying to set up the company for the future. The future of the way they should
Do you have the cuts,
things.
Leroy?
No.
Why don't you, Jesse, finish your point.
Absolutely.
And we'll just go into the cuts. But
So,
we'll grab those cuts.
I think Nick Khan has a plan for the future. Meanwhile, the company that keeps taking shots at them is doing the exact same thing Vince was just doing for the past decade.
Screw it. I just watched the collision in North Korea
Mm-hmm.
behind our Dark Side of the Ring episode. Fabulous episode, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
One of those episodes where, like, yeah, you're scared for a lot of the people involved, but a lot of them are back to talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Here's the deal, folks. That is a Dark Side of the Ring that if you want to get over the Grizzly Smith thing, if you want to get over the Dynamite
Watch
Kid
that
thing,
one, yeah.
you watch that one. But, okay, here's the analogy. You guys are taking shots, and your nuke can't even get out of the Sea of Japan. And you're taking shots at the largest nuclear program in the world.
Yeah. It's
I just...
and by the way, what Tony's about to learn, like
Yeah.
I said, what did I tell you? At some point, they are going to learn. You brought all this talent in, and you said, we're going to take care of you.
Yep.
We're going to allow you guys to go do
Random
other
question.
indie shows.
Random question for Jesse, and this is more of a or this is more of a rhetorical question.
Okay.
What exactly is the insurance plan in All Elite Wrestling?
They don't have one.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So, WWE, while they take heat for not
You got it.
allowing them to work promotions.
We'll get there in a second.
When he's
I'm
there,
going to
yeah.
just finish my thought.
I
quick
just
and
want
I'll
the
let you
list
get there.
up. We'll get to the list. I just want the list up.
Yeah.
Go.
While WWE and they're getting better at it now. That's why Triple H has been getting them to make these deals with these other companies.
Yeah.
If you were to work in Triple H is the one who started and Vince seen that it works. If you're going to let your guys go to other places because you put those deals in places,
Yeah.
you put some insurance on it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I want you to go to the UK and go do this match because it also helps us.
Yes.
It gets people to go, you know what? At least WWE is opening its doors.
Yes.
Okay, the look is great. Okay? But if you get hurt, that's on you in that promotion, not us, because you didn't do that in our ring. Okay? AEW doesn't have that. So, of course, the perfect situation, of course, was a couple years ago when Chris Statlander should have been getting a title match on an AEW show, but instead went to go work for Joey Ryan. Fucking stupid. Congratulations.
She gets hurt that night, and that match doesn't happen. I hate to say it at that point. Where does Riho go? Because at least they had a plan for Riho to eventually get into the Nyla Rose thing.
Yeah.
And this thing. But she would have been – because the problem is nothing against Riho. She's not capable of spinning that situation to work for her. She's not capable of it. That's not her ability. That's not what she does.
What she is a good babyface wrestler, but she can't really talk in this country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't speak the language.
So
very
now
well.
let's get to the fact that, like Jesse mentioned, WWE another round of cuts, and I actually agree with the Brian Last of the Jim Cornette Experience, the Corny Drive-Thru, and the 605 podcast. I agree with the Brian Last. I think you're going to start to see this once or twice a month. They're just going to start axing a few people because here's the deal. There's an argument to be made that there's not a single cut that's been made post like shutdown COVID that didn't make sense from a business perspective or an in-ring perspective. There's justification for every release, especially this.
The only one that doesn't make sense and still won't make sense is Aleister Black. Now, the only thing I can conceivably think that's happened there is that I think he was one of the ones that got a raise, and maybe Nick Khan saw the number and was like, well, I think we could probably bring him back at least a lesser number.
Yeah.
I think
And
rumor has it
because rumor has it is there's discussions between Tommy End and WWE, so there's probably a plan to bring him back.
Right. But anyway, if we look at this
Maybe
list,
even Braun, who looks jacked, by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe he needed the time off.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna mention the people that I remember. Leroy, if I forget any, just fill in the blank.
I could rattle them off if you want.
Well, but here's what I want to say.
All right.
Killian Dane, little surprising, but let's be honest, he's not the Killian Dane of Sanity. He's not the Killian Dane of NXT UK. Killian Dane at this point, I think, was at a peak that wasn't going to make a lot of sense, and but here's the deal: it's not like Killian's not going to be able to find work. Killian's going to be able to find.
All he's
got to
do is go home.
Yeah, exactly. No. I mean, but here's the deal:
Home is where the heart is for him.
Yep.
He'll get paid very well in the UK scene.
Yes, he will. Okay. Right now, Ronda's all of Ronda's girls are now gone except for Shayna. But Shayna and Ronda never even interacted when they were there.
And Shayna was the only one that they had long-term plans for anyway.
And wasn't Duke recently on Up Up Down Down?
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler Breeze might still be on Up Up Down Down.
So yeah,
He
to
might just be
clarify that to people.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only person that they've basically cut out of an episode of Up Up Down Down
was Chris Jericho.
And that was after what happened with AEW.
Yes.
So anyone else, if they've cut them, or even if they were working for another promotion after they've cut them, they've actually allowed them to still be on the show.
Yeah.
And they've allowed them to kind of change their name and use their real name if they'd like to.
Because to be fair, Ronda's girls, they're all living with Dakota and Shayna. I think they're all in the same house.
Yeah, they're all in the same house.
Nobody would know about them if they weren't on Up Up Down Down.
Because they weren't being used. Listen, they were Marina really even wasn't much of a wrestler to begin with. She just kind of wanted to try the business, get into the business, because of course her husband is Roderick Strong.
Yes.
We'll
talk about him a little later in the show.
Yeah.
Roddy had a great return. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
But maybe it just didn't work, and that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, I think Tyler Breeze will be okay. Plus, I mean, say if he decides to go to Impact, there's always a good chance WWE is just like, that's fine. Just come back, use your real name, and then we'll just allow you to still be on Up Up Down Down. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
Well, because here's the other thing. They're kind of breaking kayfabe anyway on that show, because Adam Cole is supposed to be this straight-up heel, but on there, Chugs is like my favorite guy on there, because Adam Cole is just Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And by the way, them playing Uno outside of the Performance Center with the win was so hilarious.
It was funny.
Because every time the card went, Adam Cole just lost his ever. Adam Cole and Jesse need to do a podcast together, because when they lose their minds, they both lose their minds. But folks, I hate to say it, Tyler Breeze, 33, wasn't doing much. He still got Up Up Down Down. But we talked about it off camera. Fandango had been there since 2006. If you've been there for 16 years.
2002.
2002?
Yeah.
2002 he entered that system.
He was in the developmental back then.
So folks,
2010 he was in NXT.
So folks, you can argue that they killed the Fandango dance thing, whatever. Argue all you want. You were there for almost 20 years of your career. 99 is officially when you got into the business. Your entire career was essentially there. You beat Chris Jericho once at WrestleMania. A lot of people got wins at WrestleMania that never did anything in this business.
I just think
too many years with nothing to show for it.
For me, he's the most perplexing, because someone told me, like, yeah, dude, he'll be 40 very soon, and I'm like, it's weird to me that he stuck around that long if he really thought like he could be doing more. Because that means he signed multiple extensions.
Oh, yeah.
So
another not so perplexing one to people that actually pay attention was Tino Sabatelli. Here's the deal, folks.
There's a rumor he was sent to AEW as a spy. I actually do believe that, because I think he was literally there for 2 weeks. So a cup of Joe, he got beat. Of course, on Dynamite or on Dark,
yeah,
because they didn't have Elevation at that point,
yeah,
and then he came back. But really, after they released his tag partner, first his tag partner got hurt, and then they
Yeah.
eventually released
Yeah.
him. I don't know what there was for Tino to do.
But Jesse, that was my point that I was getting to. If you look at Tino's career, he was on Breaking Ground, which was that nice, fun little backstage thing you saw into the eyes of NXT. He was sent back to the beginner class after, 6 years in the system?
Something like that.
So if you're going back to the beginner's class after 6 years in the system, you're not picking up what they're putting down. You're not understanding it. It's not making sense to you. You're a former NFL guy who's just not getting this. And it's like, look, if you look at his career, and I hate to say it, the best thing he ever did was dating Mandy Rose.
I mean, that's not bad.
Bro, it's not horrible.
No,
but in terms of your wrestling career, everyone's like, these releases, you didn't even know he was still there, I guarantee
I
it.
was
to
going to
half
say,
these
if you're mad
people.
about Tino Sabatella, you probably didn't even know he was actually there.
Tyler Breeze, Fandango, Tino Sabatelli, Rhonda's girl.
Marina Shafir.
Yep, Shafir, thank you. Yeah, I go by their last names a lot. Shafir, Davari, who, again, he'll be fine. He'll go back to working with Ken in
He'll probably go to
Minneapolis.
or he'll go to Impact.
Yeah,
Oh, one of the two.
but it's just, okay, Killian Dane.
They've actually allowed his brother
you,
Sean.
You said
who-
Killian Dane.
Yeah,
August Gray, Tony Nese.
August Gray got a name change and never did anything.
he
The
just didn't fit
Bollywood,
in.
the Bollywood boys are one of the Singh brothers.
Yep. Jinder,
That one wasn't really a shock because without Jinder, they kind of turned them into a comedy act anyway.
and to be
then-
fair,
I'm one of the 100 people that actually watched 205 Live.
but here's the deal. Here's the deal. Everyone thinks that they're just trying to cut 205 Live. In my personal opinion, a lot of the guys on there, if they weren't going to make it past 205 Live, maybe 205 Live needs a little bit of a revamp. In my personal opinion,
I think 205 Live will just be NXT.
right. Cruiserweight title's already
Yeah.
on NXT.
Yeah.
But the thing is that here's the deal. If they're going to get rid of 205 Live, okay, kind of sad, but no one cares. But here's the deal. 205 Live, the roster had gotten even more stale than Raw. Because
Well, yeah.
because it hadn't changed in so long. I think Tony, look, first of all, the only thing Tony Nese missed in life was height. That's the only thing he ever missed. But here's the deal. Tony's at a point now where I don't know how much further he was going to go. Kurt Stallion, what are we? It's not like we're sitting here acting like they just cut Randy Orton.
Well, yeah. It's
Okay?
along with
And if you want me to go to the mid card, fine. It's not like they just cut Sheamus. Like, guys.
Oh, that's a terrible name because I don't think that will ever cut Sheamus. Let's.
well, then, and
Baron
Everrise
Corbin is a
also.
name that comes up a lot,
That's
but
fair.
like I tell people about Baron, he has his place. There's a reason why he hasn't
yeah.
gone anywhere. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
very good at
They-
his place.
yeah,
They even cut one of their new writers. Haven't been there that long, but
Oh, so no,
Ines
this
Mobley.
one is the best one.
and
So
that
this-
they believe
sorry.
it was for
So,
it
yes.
says for disciplinary, the discipliner. That's why
Disciplinary.
they
This chick.
yeah. She didn't even know who.
She didn't know who Bobby Lashley was.
Could not even
So she
say
was
his
on a
full name.
podcast. This was back in early June.
Yep.
Okay. And she was talking about how, she was just hired to kind of help them write. And people were pissed off, like, well, she's just a comedy writer. But it's like, yeah, but Vince has been doing this because he also heard your complaints in 2014 about how he should get with the times.
Yeah.
So he started hiring people outside of wrestling. Yes.
You can't say Vince has never tried something.
So the whole thing about him not listening to fans is garbage. He's at most of the time he's succeeded because he actually has listened to you guys and tried things.
Yep.
Now he's done it his own way.
Yes.
But he does listen to us. It's just
And here's the interesting
his
point.
own weird dad-loving way.
Yeah. Here's the interesting point that I want to
That,
make.
yes.
Here's the interesting point. I wanna make. We're probably going to be the only show that looks at it this way, but I want to get these guys' honest reaction. 10 years ago today was the infamous pipe bomb.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I don't want to talk about that pipe bomb in a glowing way. I want to go to a counterpoint. Even though a lot of these cuts, a lot of today might prove Punk correct, here's the problem, though. No one's really stepped up outside of WWE. Ring of Honor ain't done it.
No.
Impact hasn't done it. And here's the deal. I still love Ring of Honor. Impact's been getting better, but no one took that pipe bomb and stepped. Here's the deal. Everyone's kind of still where they're at. The hierarchy didn't change in 10 years. So while, yes, Punk's still correct in what he said, folks, nobody took that pipe bomb and said, that's my moment to sort of build something. Guys, it's been 10 years and the hierarchy didn't change. I hate to say it, but Punk's pipe bomb once again proves it was best for Phil Brooks. Didn't help anybody else because no one took that fire and ran with it. Name one person who built off of that thing and actually did something with it. Because here's the deal: Bryan Danielson was already over at that point.
I was gonna say you can't use Daniel Bryan because he was already one of the monster baby faces.
Yes, it's been 10 years. And everyone today is going to talk about where they were when it happened, what they were thinking, all the backstory, this, that. But you're talking about Phil Brooks, which is fine. It was Phil's thing, and it was meant to be for CM Punk.
Well, Phil was going to be a megastar.
Yeah, but my
that
point
just really helped push it over the edge.
But my point is this:
he was already a 2-time world champion
exactly.
at that point.
But here's my point: point to the company that actually stepped up. Point to the company that stepped up.
At that point, Impact was finally completely in the shitter because Dixie Carter and Vince Russo have proven to be the worst things to ever happen to pro wrestling. On top of Hogan's disrespect to just everyone in pro wrestling that's not him, but we'll get to Hogan another day.
Another day.
But MLW was kind of just really getting going as a company.
Well, but MLW wasn't even really a thing 10 years ago. At least not the level they are now.
Well, no. But I think Joey started that company in 2009.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, otherwise, no one really stepped up.
So they're off to the side. And here's the deal. New Japan has tried, but New Japan is learning. Breaking into the American market, if you didn't start there, it's another beast. So they've been focused on
and the
things.
fact that they're not an English first speaking company.
Exactly. But it's just, folks, y'all want me to sit here and boast about Phil Brooks and boast about CM Punk. I want to sit here and look at the impact of it. It really only stands as a nice little fun ha-ha poke at Vince.
Yeah.
That's all it stands as to this time. Because I hate to say it, people call it the doofus son-in-law. You can't tell me NXT's not the best thing to happen since that promo got cut.
I wouldn't mind being the doofus son-in-law if I got that.
No. I'm not talking about his family life. I'm not talking about the money. I'm not talking about the fame. I'm talking about Triple H, the quote-unquote doofus son-in-law, is the only guy who's actually stepped up and done something about it.
Which, of course, back then they just had a lot of heat with each other, but both for legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
If I could ever take Triple H's side on that, which I can't. But
I
will say this. Yeah, I mean, Triple H is probably the only guy who actually did step his game up after all that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, listen, man. I mean, the Young Bucks were toiling around doing the same shit that they're doing now.
They just found a money mark who's paying them more to
Kenny
do it.
Omega was a comedy act. People don't remember that, but Kenny Omega was a comedy act in PWG. I remember that. So as much as people want to talk about he's the greatest Canadian import since Chris Jericho, that would be horseshit, ladies and gentlemen. He was a comedy act in PWG.
I also like what Chris Jericho said about Jim Cornette, and he's like, he hasn't been relevant. Well, he got you in the business, so I don't know what we're talking about.
And he still is relevant because more people are listening to him.
Yeah.
But overall, listen.
Also, by the way, folks, to what Jericho tried to throw insults, he's not a racist. He told an old joke that NWA stupidly overreacted to. It was a tape show that nobody edited out, so guess what? No one in NWA thought it was a bad idea. Jesse probably would have watched the episode with it in there and would have been like, I didn't even notice it because I just kept watching the match.
What, Jim Cornette?
What he said about the whole strap a bucket of chicken into his bag and drive to Ethiopia. You would have thought nothing of it.
But I'll be honest, as much as I've always appreciated Jim as a wrestling mind, I've also thought Jim is a fucking idiot.
Well, that's fair.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
But here's the deal. Here's the
like
deal.
I and I know you guys love him. I've always lumped him in with the Terry Bolleas of the world.
Which is
it's just
fair.
they're great wrestling minds. But I would think as human beings, I couldn't be around them for more than 15 minutes.
I agree.
I agree.
Ass. But the thing is, he's not a racist. He told a bad joke.
Because he was one of the first guys in the South to actually have black wrestlers.
By the
so
way,
it's hard to call him
by
a
the way,
racist.
by the way, nobody of merit.
He's just an idiot.
Yeah, nobody, nobody,
No, he's not.
As a person,
Yes.
I think he's an
Alright,
idiot.
nobody of merit and who we actually want to hear from has confirmed any of this OVW speak out crap. So that was fake. But the fact of the matter is this: these cuts, the selling of the company that probably is not happening,
I
that
don't
Jesse
think
will
it's
now
happening,
go
yeah.
to.
Will never happen.
Everything comes back to the same thing. The pipe bomb happens. No one has really stepped their game up outside of maybe Triple H, and I don't think we'll get to see his true vision until Vince finally pulls back.
Or just him and Nick Khan can finally
Exactly.
get together on
Yeah.
how they
Yeah,
build the future.
exactly.
Of guys
But
when Vince is no longer on this earth, that's when it'll happen.
yeah. But the thing about it is this.
we'll see.
The thing about it is this. They're still the top dog. The numbers prove it. And everyone on this planet can sit there and tell me, oh, the Clippers got this, the Clippers got that. You're down 3-1, boys. As of this taping, you're down 3-1. And your best player, who's a max player, can't hit a free throw.
You're getting swept.
Well, 3-1.
Well, it's not a sweep.
3-1,
if-
but I understand
if
what you're
they
saying.
gotta
Oh,
have-
4-1 is a sweep. That's an ass whooping.
No,
That's pretty
4-0 is a sweep.
It's
It's an ass whooping.
very much of a difference,
Well, that's an
especially considering the one win was a dominant win,
Yeah.
and then you've been flat ever since.
Yeah.
But the point is this: the numbers don't lie, and I'm sorry, Jesse. You and I will have this conversation another day. LeBron's got a better statistical game-winning shot than Michael. Michael's just got better highlights of him. That's a fact.
Well, I've kind of said in the last 3 years that I think overall LeBron might be the best player to ever play basketball.
You and I will have that discussion another
right,
day.
yeah,
but
yeah.
anyway,
I
but
still love Mike.
but
I mean,
at the end of the day,
I'm stubborn.
he's still a goat.
oh yeah,
Don't get it twisted.
I'm
yeah.
stubborn.
At the end of the
People
day,
still pay $300 for those shoes like
Yep.
idiots. So yeah, he's
Yep.
still a goat.
at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. The Minnesota Vikings were the 4th overall offense in the NFL last year
And didn't make the fucking playoffs.
because the defense was 27. The Jets have drafted a bunch of Pro Bowlers and had really good picks over the last 10 years
and haven't
for
done
other teams.
shit.
I'm about to say for other teams.
How many wins in the last few years for them? I don't know.
Let's not get into that.
4 or 5.
The Jets
I'll
drafted.
kill Adam Gase in his sleep. Please continue talking.
The Jets drafted. The Jets drafted a very good overall talented quarterback and just
Yep,
did
yep.
nothing with it.
Yep.
These are all facts.
yeah.
And the facts in wrestling, if we'll pull it back to wrestling, is you have not beaten Raw or SmackDown. You were boasting about beating NXT, which again is the C show just on the production value.
Yeah.
You are beating the show that Vince doesn't care about. So you're not beating Vince, you're beating Triple H.
Yeah.
So the guy you're taking the shots at is still not even paying attention to you because he doesn't need to.
And right now they're barely keeping
Statistically,
above water.
the Cons have an offer right now in sports. It's a big goose egg. They have no success in the sports world because they got their team regulated. They're not the owners of a Premier League team anymore. You're the owners of a team that whatever the league below Premier is.
Yeah, that's bad.
You're the owner of the worst NFL franchise last year. Fact.
They were
You're
worse
sitting-
than the Jets.
You're sitting
Sam
here.
Darnold made sure they were worse than the Jets.
You're sitting here.
Miracle.
You're sitting here as the Khan family. You know what's crazy? The worst thing the Khan family has right now is not AEW. It's the fact that you still just won't get rid of Tim Tebow and stop that stupid shitstorm. But anyway,
no, AEW still worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tim Tebow.
Reports are Tim Tebow might be ending soon.
Oh, if Tim Tebow makes that roster and becomes one of 3 tight ends over 3 guys who've played tight end their whole lives, the Jags are a joke. Because right now the Jags have a chance because they have 2 guys at the top who are good football
and
guys.
the defense actually isn't that bad.
No, it's not terrible.
They just couldn't
No.
score any fucking points. Last
Yeah,
year.
exactly. But no, it's just statistically that pipe bomb has not produced anything but more prestige, fame, and money for Phil Brooks. It worked for Phil It has not worked for anyone else.
No.
And
Yeah.
again, MLW withstanding because they're off to the side
Yeah.
because they were only a company for a year.
Yeah, at that point.
So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at is everybody today is going to post the promo. They're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about what came out of it for Phil. But let's talk about the wrestling world and cut out Phil Brooks for 5 seconds because he's not in the wrestling world anymore.
No.
It hasn't done shit.
No.
It's
well, no.
just a great promo.
Well, yeah.
What did The Rock's promos do? It inspired people to want to do this. What did Stone Cold 316 do? It sold more shirts than anybody will ever sell in their life. It still sells more shirts than
Yeah.
anybody else will in their life.
And
But
some
the
people
fact-
are just in shock.
But the fact of the matter is this. I don't care about the cuts because at the end of the day, they can all do better. And that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can do better for themselves.
Absolutely.
They can become Phil Brooks and do better for themselves. I don't care about your numbers, AEW, because they're not better than SmackDown. It's the better show.
Bro, stop comparing them to SmackDown. Can you hit Raw's numbers consistently? Raw isn't. Well, Raw this week actually wasn't bad, but Raw is usually fucking horrible for
not-
3 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You can't even come close to Raw.
No.
No, it wasn't too bad. This
You
week.
can't be.
Well, it was actually a good episode.
yeah, no, it was actually good.
It's a damn shame it's such a low bar. You see a good episode, like, well, damn, that was enjoyable.
But here's the deal, guys.
Real low bar.
Here's the deal, guys. When Fusion starts to catch heat on Vice, you ain't gonna beat Fusion.
I swear to God, if
No,
Billy
probably
Corgan
not.
if Billy Corgan can get some sort of TV deal for NWA, he's going to surpass you. You're going to lose, Thunder Rosa, because he's gonna be like, why do I want her on your show? I'm competing with WWE now. Why would I want him on your shit anymore?
The point is this.
God,
Stop.
NWA is so good.
We went through about 3 or 4. We knocked out about 3 or 4 of our topics, but the truth is, it all goes back to the one topic of we're tired of the shots. Because here's the deal: don't come at the king unless you actually have something to make relevant. Because
Yeah.
here's the deal: WWE is number 1 in the world. No one disputes that except for you, and you don't even have the numbers to back it up.
no.
And your owner, he can't even get himself over.
No, you
Vince
can't.
is over. I don't care what anyone says. Vince McMahon is over as a character.
mean, he's probably going to come out when they're first back live with fans, and he's going to get a standing ovation. And yeah, it may not be for what has happened recently,
Right.
but it will be for everything he got us into, like our love of pro wrestling. Like that's what matters.
It's, folks. All I gotta say is this: we are sitting here, Jesse, I, and Leroy, and I am trying to explain to you facts. but as Jesse has learned through Reddit, as I learned through Reddit, I don't even have a Reddit user. I just go on as a guest all the time. And
I do have an account.
yeah. I have nothing against that, but see, I like to do the guest thing more often because then you can start something and you can do it over and over again,
True.
and people think you're a different person.
True.
Because the sad part is, after a while, you just look like a hater and people ignore you. I get live reactions because they think I'm just some random guy. But the point is this: you have no evidence. I have all the evidence. You have no good evidence. I've got half-assed evidence and it still works. AEW is not a better show.
No.
We've ripped it apart, and at the end of the day, all of the wrestlers on it get finicky about it because A, that's your paycheck, and B, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're going to defend what you do whether it's good or bad. I'll defend this whether people think it's good or bad. But the fact of the matter is this: that microphone next to Jesse is open to any number of people who wrestle in AEW. And you can come on here and you can tell me about the work environment. And you can tell me about Tony Khan. You can tell me about I've never been able to make this much money doing what I love. You can give me all the, and I'll quote the great call, even though it was by Vince, it was a good call.
Yeah.
The boyhood dream.
Yeah.
You can give me all of that. And I'm just going to look at you and say, 450,000 people. And yes, I know the time slot was shitty, but Jim Cornette said it on the show, and Jesse will agree with this because, Jesse, you'll understand this. Getting a Saturday slot in wrestling used to be the golden ticket.
Yeah.
It used to be the best thing. But, folks, you say WWE doesn't listen to the fans. We talked about the fans. when you piss off fans, they come back. Because remember, in wrestling, we talked about it with Grizzly Smith, but now the positive of it, the heels didn't bring their wives to the arena because there was going to be a riot.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette can sit there and he can be arrogant when he talks about it, but he was there when the Midnight Express were three of the most hated men on on this planet,
Oh, yeah.
and they still sold more tickets than anybody else.
Yes, they did.
But Jim Cornette has real heat because people actually gave him death threats.
Yeah.
People sent a little girl sent Jim Cornette a death threat that he still has. This is a real story that is not faked.
Yeah.
So, folks, you want to give your fans everything, guess what? Eventually, they're going to get bored.
Yeah.
Because people, when they go to entertainment, they want to go through emotions. Endgame and Infinity War, there were emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Jets fans, you have emotions.
Unfortunately.
You're happy when you score first and then realize you don't score for 3 more quarters. But the fact of the matter is this. You want to take shots at the king, at least have something that's legit.
And it's messed up because they have one of their best guys just do that. I mean, like Eddie, like there's a legitimate love for Eddie because Eddie has probably deserved this kind of spotlight for 6 years in his career because he's just been at the top of his game the last 6 years.
I would go longer, but I agree that this is the best 6 years. Yeah.
And to take that stupid ass pot shot,
Yep.
just it's beneath him.
You took that pot shot because of the money mark.
It's literally
did.
beneath him to do it. There's no reason for them to even talk about WWE.
No.
You want to know why? You want to know why the biggest reason there's no reason to talk about WWE anymore for them? Cody Rhodes literally just said 2 months ago, I would actually, I talked to Triple H recently, and our doors are open to working with them. Then why are you constantly taking shots? Why are you constantly taking shots? Your prime EVP said that. He said, I have aspirations of one day having AEW work with WWE. You want to know why? Because his daddy didn't believe in burning bridges.
Yep.
God rest his beautiful damn soul. I wish the man was still here today. Because I wonder what he would think of some of the shit that goes on in that company.
Cody wouldn't have left if Dusty was still there. This is something I've tried to avoid for a long time because I think people have to understand, regardless of my age, regardless of when I first started watching or what I've done, there is a love for Dusty Rhodes.
Oh.
And I'm getting teared up. Just still confirm.
Yeah.
There is a love because you sit there and you watch the man. He was himself.
Yeah.
He never tried to get the best body.
Nope.
He went out there and it was the weirdest, stupidest, dumbest thing on the card.
One of the worst piece of wrestling attire I've ever seen with them polka
and
dots.
the WWE gave him the polka dots, and you know what? Now the polka dots are so legendary, everybody wants to wear them. Dusty Rhodes, he cared about the talent.
Just his work in WCW for all those years alone.
Dusty had his faults, but that's what made Dusty Dusty.
What he did when Triple H said, I want to actually turn NXT into a wrestling program. Dusty, I know you want to retire, but can I have you come help me work with these kids? And he said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Triple H.
Ric Flair's promos are legendary because it made you want to be him. Dusty Rhodes was you.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes was a fat, pudgy white guy, but Jesse, was his story any different than you growing up in New York?
Which is why he related to people of color so well. When I think about it, now that I've said it and you think about it, if Dusty was still around, and I know he's not with us anymore, but if Dusty was still around and they would have decided to do AEW, I have to believe the first thing he would have told Tony Khan is there's a reason Vince has succeeded for so long. So if you're going to compete with him, you might want to copy him a little bit. Because, were we all a little pissed off when he decided to take his show on the road? Even though he promised his dad when he bought the company from, because his dad made him buy the company from him, people.
Yep.
Remember
He did,
that.
yeah.
But you also got to remember, Vince's relationship with his dad was not always great.
But like so what
So I
Dusty once
guarantee
said
you-
was,
And the other problem is people have to understand. In the course of history, there's John D. Rockefeller, Andrew
Yep.
Carnegie, the two richest men ever, based on inflation.
yeah,
But there's also, and enough of this cancel culture being mad at them. There's the Bill Gates, the Jeff Bezos, the Tim Cooks of the world, who succeeded Steve Jobs.
who's Jeff Bezos? I mean, I've only seen Lex Luthor over at Amazon. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, Lex
yeah.
Luthor. Okay, cool.
It's his secret identity.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. So sorry.
Oh, no one else knew that that was Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well, shit. I'm sorry. I gave that away to people. I'm sorry. Don't kill me,
Yeah,
Jeff.
no.
Or Lex.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to be called.
Hopefully not.
Anyway, but just, and you know what? I'll say it also. There are the Barack Obamas.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about people that made money. I'm talking about people that legitimately you can point to and they changed something. And, I'm not throwing Barack in there because Jesse's black. I'm throwing Barack in there because he actually did something.
He did do a
Yeah,
lot of
he
good
did.
things.
Yes.
But here's the deal.
I mean, he waited his last 3 years to do it, but he did.
But here's the deal. Well,
But he's got
well,
Michelle. That's right there. That's helpful.
Well, but here's the deal. The first four of a president is cleaning up the mess of the last guy.
And that was a hell of a mess.
But here's the deal.
Oh,
You
yeah.
take these great people, and they all deserve a place in the history books for what they did, and so does Vince. Because again, he's that level of people where you, as an average person, are never going to understand why they did what they did. But they were successful. But success doesn't come without hate.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Bezos is the reason Amazon is the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, people. You sit there and you're like, well, I could be Jeff Bezos. They'd still be selling books if you ran Amazon. But everyone's like, they kill small business. They work with like every small business in the world.
They actually do try to.
Al Sands is still trying to get the Amazon store
Yeah.
up and going. So it's like they are not trying to kill anything but maybe UPS.
Well, I'm about to say the mail companies are all trying to kill each other. But otherwise, yeah, I mean,
So
basically,
they love delivering all my packages.
yeah.
basically Amazon has built what they're trying to build.
I
is,
bought so much shit off Amazon. It's ridiculous.
They built a network, but to give Vince, like I said, as we were talking about with Dusty and Vince,
Yeah.
you know, while
Sorry to interrupt. Back to your point
So,
about
yeah.
Dusty's conversation with
so
Tony.
and what I think what he would have told Tony is like, listen, yes, his dad was pissed when he took the show on the road and he asked him not to do it.
Yep.
Okay, and it was just because his dad was super old school.
But at the same time, even Jim Cornette, the old school guy, has
Yeah.
said a lot of the territories, they died out because of their own faults.
Yeah.
The fact that
Yeah.
Vince lasted as long as he did, here's the deal. Would we be any less mad at Vince? And maybe we would, but would it have changed anything if Vince would have waited 10 more years for the territories to die out and then gone on the road?
yeah,
Our opinions might be 180, but it would have been the same result.
yeah,
Folks, WWE has survived Mid-South. It survived just AWA, NWA in its original incarnation.
WCW.
It survived the the UWF. It survived WCCW. I mean, I could list territories for days.
yeah,
Yeah.
Stampede Wrestling
Yeah.
in Calgary. They all couldn't figure out the formula to go 50 years.
Yeah.
Vince got the formula and it worked. So he is the greatest wrestling promoter of all time because he outlasted the rest of them.
yeah, he did.
Folks,
Yes, I say the man with the most
you're not
toys wins.
you don't think Jeff Bezos took a little bit from Steve Jobs, a little bit from Bill Gates cuz they all did the same shit? You
got
don't
to.
think that it would have
You also learned from some evil ass dictators as well, but that's another
you
story
know.
for another time. I mean, he is Lex Luthor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's my other point. Going back to the whole we're tired of pot shots. You're sitting here telling me that you don't want to take a little bit from the guy who's the only reason why you're doing this.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because by the way, that's not even giving credit to Vince. Take Vince out of the equation. Your daddy bought the company because he was mad that Vince was and he was probably mad that Vince was going to make a better football program than the Jaguars.
Probably.
Because I'm going to be honest about something. I don't care how much money you got. When there's those owner meetings, you think anybody listening to Shad Khan?
No.
No, they're listening to the guys with 4 or 5 Super Bowl rings. Jerry Jones at least got 3 rings.
I will say this. Like
3
I
or
was
4
saying,
under Jerry.
I think
Is it 3 under Jerry? Jerry's got 3 rings?
He's got 3.
Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think Dusty would have been like, listen, you gotta listen here, baby.
Yes, you got to talk.
You gotta listen here, baby.
You got to listen
okay?
to me. You got to listen to me now,
He's
boy.
been in this business for 50 years. 50 years, okay? The man knows what he's doing. So if we're going to compete with the man, we better take some ideas from the man and build a hell of a show.
I hate to say it, Jesse. NWO, look, just because NWO was an idea from New Japan doesn't mean that NWO and WCW isn't the most over NWO thing that ever happened in wrestling. You can't even deny that.
Well, here's the thing, because people, because, Paul famously had the promo, which, by the way, he talked about in one of his interviews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was, rightfully said, like, a lot of this shit you stole from me that you did, Vince. But to be fair to Paul, like he said, we actually kind of all stole from each other.
The wrestling, here's the deal. There's not an original idea in wrestling anymore. There isn't.
Well, no.
The
No.
fact that you make someone a heel, it doesn't matter what kind of heel you make them. It's already all been mapped out.
Yeah.
There's a blueprint
Yeah.
for every character. Stone Cold's the last real. Actually, Stone Cold and Rock, I should say. They're the last real original ideas. Because Rock was not, and the reason I say Rock is because he was not only arrogant, but he was black.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, MVP, they're the Rock again.
Yeah.
Because when The Rock did it, and by the way, I want to point something out. When Rock did it, there was never talk of race. He was that good. You're Mount
no.
Rushmore because no one cared that you were black.
Well, and then there's
you were just The Rock.
There's a reason he's one of the best A-list Hollywood stars now. Like, he's just that talented.
Yeah.
He's always been that
But
talented.
that's my point. Talents come along, but they're the last original idea.
Yeah.
Love or hate him as a person. Hogan was Hogan was really one of the last real ideas.
Hogan was one of the best characters
in my
ever
opinion,
created.
Jesse, you and I love music. We'll take it to this. Leroy, this was your area. You might know. In my opinion, Hulk Hogan is the Kiss of professional wrestling.
Okay.
There's great.
I don't hate any of the members of Kiss.
No.
That's the
Music,
I
the
know.
music,
I just
yeah.
throwing that joke out there.
Here's my, that's fair. But here's my thing. When you look at Kiss,
I've actually got the chance to meet Ace a couple times.
Cool.
Fucking awesome guy.
Ace Frehley's an amazing person. But okay, let's just focus on Kiss for 2 seconds. They have their core rock fan base.
Of course.
But Kiss is going to be known as a conglomerate because they had the vision to do it. They understood marketing. They understood how to promote themselves. They've worked with Scooby-Doo. They've worked with Santa Claus. They've worked with Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Gene and Paul.
They did all that.
Yeah, they understood business.
But their fame goes back to the music.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Rock and Roll Night Party Every Day might be one of the most well-known songs, but there is some actual real musicianship to the old, especially the early Ace solos on the first couple
yeah.
records. Ace was an amazing soloist.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing about it is this. Hulk Hogan's career will always be defined by flipping Andre. It's going to be defined by getting the leg broken. It's going to be defined by the wrestling. But to say Hulk Hogan is still not a conglomerate is completely untrue.
The man has been one of the smart businessmen.
Him beating the Sheik is another one.
Yeah.
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 But the thing about but see, again, that goes back to the core audience. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about the entertainment audience because we're trying to talk about how Vince took it to another level past the wrestling audience.
Yeah.
Wrestling audience hates Vince, but the rest of the world's like, all right, we're entertained.
Well, also, and what Vince started to do in the 80s that wrestling companies really hadn't really done before, he started working with popular celebrities. And that was because people don't realize that actually happened after he bought the company from his dad. He understood, you know what? Every time I do these WrestleMania shows at Madison Square Garden and I bring in celebrities, these do really well. Because it brings in the outside people to come check out pro wrestling.
Here's the deal. Vince doesn't get Tyson. Tyson's not on AEW.
Well, no. Well, absolutely not. But here's
The
also
problem is they copy him, but they can't do it well.
I know.
They copy him, but they
know.
can't do it right.
because
And they also get Tyson. Here's the deal.
because 3 of them are fucking complete idiots.
Can I also just point something out? AEW got Mike Tyson. Not a bad get. Vince got Iron Mike Tyson. Vince got Iron Mike.
When he was damn near killing folks in the ring.
Vince McMahon got Iron Mike Tyson, probably the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. Nothing against Muhammad Ali. Nothing against what Al believes. Muhammad Ali can be the GOAT for many reasons, but Muhammad Ali was great. But man, that right hand from Tyson. Is there any more lethal thing in combat sports maybe ever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there anything maybe
I
more
don't know.
lethal?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm serious, bro.
I mean, I really maybe not when I think about it. But yeah, I mean, what
There's
Vince,
been leg kicks from a guy like McGregor. There's been Anderson Silva. There's been chokeouts from the Gracie family. But the right hand of Iron Mike.
And I'll give Brock his credit. He literally was a beast in the MMA.
Yeah.
When he was in his prime doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Prime Tyson right hand.
yeah.
Dude, here's the deal.
I
There's
mean,
a-
Evander had a nasty hook too.
True, but just a straight right from Iron Mike.
That uppercut from Evander was something pretty deadly.
Nothing against
but,
Holyfield. Love him. But
But yeah,
But the
Vince,
thing about
Vince
it-
had the mindset of the way this probably survives is to get pro wrestling to be more of a big ass showcase, a big ass as it was once said back
to paraphrase
in the
Vince,
70s,
wrestling's not going to last as long as you want it to.
a soap opera for men, as it's been
Well,
once
yeah,
said.
it is. I mean, because of WrestleMania 1, the first one, you got Cyndi Lauper. You
Yeah.
got Liberace. You got everything.
Mr. T.
Mr. T was in there. And as a wrestler.
Billy Crystal, I think, showed up.
Was Billy
He was-
Crystal at the first WrestleMania?
Maybe
No, not the first
Maybe
one.
the second one.
That was in WrestleMania 1? Okay.
Muhammad Ali was a
Yeah.
guest referee. I
Yeah.
mean, that was that started it. He it's like
And he's been. And okay, hold on a second.
And he
Hold on a
hasn't
second.
stopped
Let's put this in
dabbling
context
in
for like 10
Hollywood.
seconds. Like, let's put in context for a second. First of all, who was more over in the music world than Cyndi Lauper at that point?
No
Love or
one.
hate pop music, nobody was more bigger than Cyndi Lauper.
Well,
No
then
one.
You had Muhammad Ali. You had Mr. T, who was one of the biggest stars in the world. Folks, think about this, though. He's been trying to top that 35, 37 times over since.
yeah.
Folks, to try to top that each year, well, not to mention the fact, y'all, the entertainment world comes to him. Floyd Mayweather came to him. I'm not saying Floyd was begging. I'm just saying Floyd went to him.
Well, yeah, no.
But guys,
and I mean,
guys,
listen,
Double
this-
or Nothing was. By the way, I hate to say this.
Just look at the last WrestleMania. I mean, Bad Bunny has
my
been so
God.
inspired by the wrestling of the past
And by the way,
that
that's
when he
necessary.
asked them, "Hey, how can I train to actually take this seriously?"
Right.
They because usually in the past celebrity matches where you'll come in, you'll get the quick baby face stuff,
Yeah.
you'll win,
Which
we
is
get
how-
the
Yeah.
paychecks and move on.
Which is how I know Cornette wanted it to be. But I'm going to be honest with you, Bad Bunny and
Pat McAfee for
Yeah.
damn sure, they both set a new standard. Like,
Yeah.
hey, like, listen, these guys were willing to go work with the wrestlers. So,
Yeah.
if you're a celebrity, you really want to try this, go work with them.
But there's also room to bring in a Snooki type of deal.
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
There's a way to bring in a Shatner, to bring in a
Yeah.
Mr. D. You can still do it,
yeah,
but there is a new standard, I agree, with the younger
Ronda
celebrity
Rousey,
generation. Yes.
she's just a celebrity. Fuck her. But continue.
Yeah. But anyway,
I wouldn't have.
but
cared.
anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
She's an annoying
That is-
pest to me now.
all right, so that is my take on just stop taking shots until
Yeah, they gotta
you
stop.
if you beat Raw, I will let you take whatever shots you want for 1 week. Because you beat NXT a lot of weeks, you took all your shots, but you took them at Raw and SmackDown. You never took them at NXT.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
You weren't taking shots at the product that was actually statistically lower than you.
Yeah.
You were taking shots at the product that was statistically better than you. That's like Kevin Durant taking shots at Scottie Pippen, but it's like Scottie Pippen got more rings and didn't join a super team.
for me to not get pissed off, we have to move on because that whole thing pissed me off.
Save it for later. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE Hell in a Cell has come and gone.
Oh, yeah.
Solid pay-per-view in my opinion, but
Yes.
Leroy, what do you got for us on that card? Jesse,
all right.
we're actually going to let you this week give your opinions straight after Leroy drops off the card.
Awesome.
I want to hear you first.
All right. Well, we have a
Opening match.
opening match. It was a single match with Natalia beating Mandy Rose by submission.
Really good match. Doesn't really mean much. At some point, they're just going to give them a tag title shot.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt they'll win. I like it. It just doesn't. Another problem with a lot of the cuts WWE made was they also gutted the women's tag team division on the main roster.
Unfortunately,
and there's
yeah.
only like 6 women now technically active on SmackDown. So yeah, they're gonna have to fix that. But yeah, fun match overall, but not really a big deal.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, it was a simple little win.
Yeah.
And then, which is crazy, and they actually started off the show with the SmackDown Women's Championship in a cage. I don't think it was necessary to be in a steel cage, especially after this.
Well, to be in
last
Hell in a
week.
Cell. Well, it's weird because they're going to have another match.
They are, yeah.
Vince has seemed to kind of gotten away from the fact that Hell in a Cell is supposed to be a blow-off match.
Yeah.
He's just made it now more of a gimmick match. But I will say this. This was probably the best match on the card. One, because the story was there. There was a reason for them to be in Hell in a Cell because, of course, they had already wrestled. This feud was getting more and more intense.
It's known as kind of like a finality type match.
Yeah, like
so,
like I was saying, like Vince has seemed to kind of made it more of a gimmick match. I wish they would get away from that, but
yeah.
Otherwise, to me, this was the best match on the card. To me, you almost got to stop putting the 4 horsewomen starting matches or starting pay-per-views, especially if they're against each other or against people like Bianca Belair or an Alexa Bliss, because like that's you're starting the card so damn hot when
In
the
my
rest of it doesn't
opinion-
follow through. It feels a little disappointing.
In my
Oh, yeah.
opinion, when back when we rated the 4 horsewomen and we thought that Bayley was maybe the lowest because of the overall presentation, she has shot up that list
Well, she
really
has.
quick.
Like I said, I only put Sasha number 1 and will continue to put Sasha number 1.
Oh,
It's because I think Sasha's
Sasha's the total package.
has been better than all of them since day one.
Oh no! No argument here. I think Becky got over more
Well, Becky
to a higher pain
and-
spot.
and Becky also took something, really they were trying to turn her heel,
Yeah.
and like the problem was people have been waiting for her to turn on Charlotte for the longest time anyway.
Yeah.
And absolutely loved it. Yes.
Yeah, no. If this was the old wrestling days, Becky would have become the top women heel.
Yeah.
Problem is that
Charlotte's never been looked at in a positive way. So,
No.
but yeah, overall, I mean, this match was phenomenal. Bianca,
Bayley's the master of messing with the commentary booth.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing that I'm gonna miss from the Thunderdome is the ability for them to hear the commentators. I'm kind of
I will be interested
because some of them were able to play off it so
Yeah.
well.
I will be interested to see. And so this was actually referenced by Drew.
I just hope that Pat McAfee still has the same energy when the
Right.
crowd's there.
So-
he might have more.
Drew
He
kinda-
may have more.
More turned up Pat
Drew
McAfee.
kind of said this in an interview. He's like, there's a chance you still might see this, including some of the Roman stuff, because they as wrestlers are interested to see if when matches start, if crowds are quiet, for them to still do what they've been doing.
True.
Because I think that actually would add a new dynamic if crowds are like, yo, I want to hear them talk to each other, like the story beats and shit, because watching it has been fun as hell.
Right.
So
I don't think Bayley will stop.
I think
her-
Bayley will continue. I
her
think Roman will try
job
to
in-
continue.
Oh, no,
With Michael,
no.
she's
Yeah,
going
no,
to keep
yeah.
doing that
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's just
Hell, you might actually start seeing now in the arenas is they actually might start putting. This will be getting a little dangerous though because WWE at times can be guilty of the people calling the match in the ring.
Yeah.
But they might actually try to use the mics in the ring more, so that way, like, every now and then the crowd can actually hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, shit, here goes Roman talking his shit
Yeah.
again. Or here goes Bailey yelling at Michael Cole. And then that'll actually start to get
Yeah.
a pop as well. So
I
we'll
will say,
see what happens.
But yeah, no, I will say this. Bailey, this might sound crazy. I think Bailey's better than Charlotte right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not crazy. If we rank them now, Charlotte's number 4, because to me she only works as a heel.
Yeah.
Anytime she's been babyface, it's
To
really
be,
worked.
To be fair, though, I think, and not through any fault of her own, I think that Becky will now just be the perpetual face for the rest of her career.
Oh, she has no choice. She's fucked.
Most likely.
It's the Stone Cold syndrome.
Yeah, like.
I swear to God,
yeah.
I swear to God, if Becky comes out with a ukulele at some point, I'm gonna lose my ever-loving mind because it'll be the best thing ever.
I just don't know if they have a Kurt Angle to play off of it. That's all.
That's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
All
All
right.
right.
Go ahead.
All right, the
match.
next month, the next match, Seth Rollins got that awful thing off his back and actually beat the Swiss Superman.
I'm
and got
split
a
on
pinfall.
this. I'm so split on this. So to me, the reason, of course, that they did this is because the rumor is that Seth and Edge will have a match at SummerSlam.
Yes.
Rumor, yes.
So, yes, you want to do the Seth Edge match at SummerSlam, but it's hard for him to do it if all he keeps doing is losing to Cesaro, the guy
Yeah.
you're trying to push. Now, the way they did this, of course, was trying to protect Cesaro because they did the kind of cheat roll-up win.
Yeah.
Because some people were like, you just did a Raw. I'm like, technically, he pulled the tights, and he won.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm split on this because if Cesaro doesn't win Money in the Bank, it feels like another start-stop push, and that would suck.
That's fair.
Because the man is 40 now. Now, he's in the best shape of his career, and he also got started a little late. I think he got into the business
Well,
at 26.
there's 2 people that are on SmackDown that you can bid to get that Money in the Bank. And
But
that's-
I actually
and
think,
that's
I think it sounds
Cesaro
like Big E is
and
going
Big
back.
E.
I think Big E is going to Raw.
that they're saying what possible draft, but yeah,
Yeah.
Big E is another one up there with the Swiss Superman that deserves.
Which,
A
to
Money
be
in the Bank
honest,
shot,
they
so.
need more like Big E's on Raw because Raw is a
Well,
little suffering. But
that could be very
But
interesting
overall,
on that
like I
show.
said, great match. It's going to be hard for these two to have
As
a bad
crazy
match.
as crazy as it sounds, I don't think Raw will seem as bad when there's a crowd. I think the problem with Raw, and I've been meaning to you and I had this conversation for a while, I think Raw has just sadly been trying to build so much and they can't really build it if they don't get a crowd reaction. SmackDown has just said, fuck it, here's what we're doing, and that's why I think it's showing better to the TV audience.
Well, having Paul Heyman helps.
But what I'm saying for Raw is I think Raw is going to look better overall because there's finally going to be crowd reactions to what they're doing. The problem is that Raw just hasn't gone for it. They've been tentatively going for it. They've been more maybe, whereas SmackDown's like, fuck it, here we go. And so I actually think Raw has the potential to be better with crowds. I'm not saying it's going to all of a sudden skyrocket back to the old days. I'm just saying that Raw, I think, will benefit from a crowd because then they're actually going to be able to tell.
They will need to be better because one thing I do agree with
You'll
as
be
far
able to survive those 3 hours.
Yeah. Here's the thing. One thing
survived so far.
before you go
Not
to the
by
next
much.
match, one thing I do agree with the doubters on for Raw getting back in front of fans. If Raw is still as bad, people live will shit all over your show. So I do hope that they definitely like pick it up on Raw because for 3 hours it can be very difficult to watch without fans. And if they're there with fans and they're still putting on a half and half show,
yeah.
we're going to have problems. But Leroy, go ahead
Yeah.
for the
All
next
right.
match.
No.
And then we get this weird one with our little Miss Bliss defeating Shayna Baszler with her manipulation of her mind control.
I may be
It's-
the only person in
it's
the
crazy,
world
man.
who thought for the first time this is the best thing they've ever done with Alexa Bliss. Here, let me explain why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because trust me,
I love it. I mean, it's great.
Because
but-
overall,
I'm enjoying it.
I've seen a lot of people hate on it a lot.
I'm actually having fun with this.
and like
I am.
and Alexa loves the character.
You love Middle Bliss, of course. I don't blame you.
most people in this situation would say no comment. I say I don't need a comment.
Because we already know.
Well, to be honest, your fiance looks like she could be Alexa Bliss's little sister. So to be fair to her, I mean, you're doing good. But yeah.
I ain't complaining.
And if you did, don't say anything.
Oh,
Good advice.
I gotta say this. One, we don't get to see Alexa Bliss wrestle a lot anymore. So damn, that was great. Okay.
And she is, well, I was waiting for her to do Sister Abigail. No.
Yeah,
She's
so
going back to
she's
her
going back to her
finished
style
move.
of wrestling.
And her original
They
finish.
fi-
move.
you know, on Raw, they finally gave her a new song, which is great because if you're going to break her away from the Fiend, for the Fiend to eventually come back and start screwing with her, you need to completely break her away from him.
Her little version of the spider walk, by the way, that was actually kind of creepy.
It is creepy.
That
I
was
like
a little
it.
rough
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little. Oh boy.
And listen, I know people are like, man, Shayna's getting beat again. But Shayna already... So Shayna put out a thing, like, I'll quickly go over this. An
Yeah, I
interview
did
where
see
she's
that
like,
too, yeah.
I'm enjoying this because I'm getting to try to show them my range. Because she told them, like, well, listen, I can continue to do the badass thing, but I kind of want to show some range. So, yeah, they've put her in this feud with Alexa Bliss. And I think she's
I
been
love
doing
how
a really
everybody
good
wants
job.
the wrestlers to do what they want. That's why they go to AEW. But then they do it in WWE, and everyone just immediately thinks that it's Vince's.
Yeah, they think Vince is just doing a terrible job with them. No, he's actually listening to his wrestlers. So, and to give Bruce Pritchard a lot of credit, he's actually tried to give, so, but we'll get into that later. But overall, I thought this was so fun. They're trying the stuff with the weird like hypnosis because understandably it's going to be very hard for her to just switch fucking outfits in front of a live crowd.
Yes.
Not saying that it can't be done with the whole lights out thing.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very difficult to do it 2 to 3 times in a match.
Oh, yeah.
Right. No, I agree.
So the hypnosis thing, like I said, I want to see more of it to see how it kind of works into matches. But that's the way they're going to have to try to do things with that. Otherwise, I thought this was perfect. Yes, Alexa Bliss should get the win. She's someone you're going to like they've kind of already put out.
I just want to point something out. Even if the doll does crawl up the ladder and get the briefcase, does it? It's more consistent storytelling than AEW's ever had.
Well, that's going to be a live show. That'll be interesting.
That's true. B.
Well, clearly you'll see the strings.
Yeah.
Fucking do.
B.
I hope so.
Lily is a better in-ring competitor than the sex doll that Kenny Omega worked with. Or,
Oh, wait. You mean the actual sex doll?
No, it's not about no. That one, no. This is a family show. I was talking about Michael knocking the fuck off my television.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Riho again.
No.
No. I wasn't even talking about the actual sex doll that inanimate object he wrestled in Japan. I was talking about Michael knocking the fuck off my
The
television.
guy wrestled a fucking 11-year-old for comedy reasons.
9-year-old.
I know. Naka, yeah.
9-year-old.
Oh.
But anyway,
yeah.
no. Here's the deal. Even if that's how Alexa wins, I don't care because we've brought Lily in. Let's work with it.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing: is she not the prime person to have the case? She has a swing set. She has a slide. Folks, Alexa Bliss with that. Oh boy!
Because
she
now
could be
the creepy things you can now have her do to your women's champions every time they think she might come out to cash in.
Oh, it'd be so good.
So fun.
It'd be so good. But anyway, next up we got on this
all
thing.
right, and then we have.
And by the way, also, lot of love to
Nia
Shayna.
Jax gets a lot of credit.
Never thought I'd hear you say that.
She could have phoned her fucking performance in, and she actually gave it her all at the pay-per-view. So
Never thought I heard you compliment
I
on
know,
Nia Jax.
and I don't like to give her compliments because usually she pisses her way through whatever she does.
I know she didn't have a problem with her hole either, so.
I mean, I'll help her with that. Big sexy ass
jeez.
woman.
Oh,
she
jeez.
pisses it right through that hole.
This
Anyway,
this is almost a family. No, it's not a family show. No, I help with that. All right.
very much so.
Oh yes.
ODB
All right.
over here.
Hey. I don't have. Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
All right. Then we have good old Sami Zayn getting the win over Kevin Owens.
Perfect.
That was after his injury that he had on Friday.
I'm just gonna
It's
say
great.
it. I'm just gonna say it. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, They are the epitome of the Mox Box rule because you can't criticize what they do together.
The only thing I wish WWE would do with them, just let them go for 25 minutes. That's all. Just let them do it for 25. Like seriously, I'd be like, you know what? I have a middle of a show. I don't, maybe. 'Cause
Sadly-
this show is actually short.
Sadly, you want them on Raw, so you just want to have the. You know what, Jesse? Jesse just figured it out.
12 minutes short match that they had. So
Jesse just figured it out. From the 45-minute mark of the second hour of Raw to the 15-minute mark of the third hour of Raw, just let it be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Let them do whatever the hell they want.
For half an hour, and you'll get great entertainment every week.
Yep.
These guys literally, it's funny because they're best friends. They literally go out there, and they have for the last 20 years, and damn near kill each other.
Here's the thing, though.
yeah, I
Here's the
know.
thing, though. They're kind of like the guys.
It's like Minoru Suzuki and Tanahashi. It's like, guys, I know off camera you're friends. Why do you try to kill each other every time you
Sad
get
part
in the
about it
ring?
is, I actually am more believing in they're going to kill each other than any of the deathmatch guys. Because it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
too over the top where I see these guys and I'm like,
Or Okada and Ibushi.
that actually looks like it's going to hurt.
Like, oh my God. Like,
dude, if it was my friend,
It's crazy.
I'd do.
Roman and Seth, which
They
we'll
built-
get to that later.
They built.
I would do that to my friends too.
They built Sami Zayn. as-
Today, I'm going to throw your head through a ladder on a suplex. So
There we go.
just be prepared.
They built Sami
right.
Zayn coming in as maybe like one of their next big sort of high fly guys.
Yeah.
But when Sammy works with anyone but Kevin, it's different. But when he works with Kevin, I have never seen matches more stiff. In this modern era.
Oh, yeah.
Because those guys are just. But here's the deal. I don't think any other guy would have it any other way.
No.
You better hit me, motherfucker.
I with a friend. I'm like, you're gonna hit me? Why? Because I'm gonna hit you twice as hard if you're
Bro.
not gonna hit me, you bitch.
When Kevin Owens is
Boom.
going, when Kevin Owens is yelling, "Come on, Sammy!" That's not KO. That's Kevin Steve.
Come on,
Like, hit me.
Yeah.
Hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Listen.
I'd do that to you too. I'd be like, come on, Zach, hit me now,
They
bitch.
they are
Right.
the Mox Box rule personified on
Oh,
this
yeah,
show.
definitely.
We don't need to talk about it.
Great match.
Personally, I just want to switch it to, John. Congrats on the baby girl. We're officially gonna for the first time on the show replace the segment. It is no longer the Mox Box. I honestly just want to call it. You know what? We're gonna call it the Steen Generico rule.
That works.
Ah,
That works.
yeah.
That works.
Or better yet, ladies and gentlemen, we're just gonna call it El Steen.
There we go. We'll call it the Elstein box.
The Elstein box.
Or
I
just
like
the
that.
Elstein rule. I
There we
prefer.
go.
Yeah.
That works.
There we go.
There we go.
I
Yep.
hope this works here.
There we go.
There we go. Volume up. There we go. All right.
There we
So
go.
yes.
That was
yes.
wonderful.
So name change, the Elstein rule.
It's going to take a couple of shows. I'll probably say Mox Box because it rhymed, but yes. Officially now on the show we have the Elstein rule.
Sweet.
Like, there's not a lot to say. They're gonna do great shit,
It's
basically.
just, got nothing more to say other than
It's
that.
gonna
Yep.
be great.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry,
Well-
John. Hope the baby's good, but you've been replaced. Anyway,
He's used to it.
This next match, before I know, this is what I have to say about it. Just because of the way it ended. Charlotte Flair defeated Rhea Ripley by disqualification because she hit her head.
I think.
Before you
No, no,
say a word, what did I say?
Yep.
But
What did I say?
she hit her head on the announce table and they
No.
disqualified it.
She flipped up
What?
the announce table top, and they disqualified her for it. This feud is the most AEW thing WWE has
It
done.
is. It is.
Please go ahead.
That's
It
why
is.
I said about it too. Is
What the hell is this? What have they done to Rhea Ripley?
I have
I
watched.
don't
I have
know.
watched people go through the announce table in front of the referee, and it still wasn't a disqualification.
Like, what? What did I
I know.
say?
The announce table is the only thing. By the way, the American announce table is the only thing at ringside that's not a foreign object. The Spanish announce table is a foreign object because it's the Spanish announce.
They're gonna
table.
have another match at Money in the Bank. This makes no fucking sense
Yeah, it's
no,
bad.
because they don't have anybody else to
because they
wrestle
cut
with.
the rest of them. And Triple H is not letting no more women go up there because he's seen what happens. Listen, damn it, get it right, guys.
But hold on. I'm also right about this. When I said this really early on in the show, I think this was even before Jesse.
I'm not depressed until we
Rhea-
get to the main event. Go
Rhea
ahead.
Ripley, in my opinion, they built her too much on NXT. Not as a character, but they built the character to be too about NXT. She has no chemistry on the main roster, and I think this was the problem with how you built her. She was counterculture herself, but the problem is the character was built too much to be NXT love that she just doesn't look right on Raw. That's the problem.
I don't even think it's a look. I truly, this is one time I will get on Vince and Bruce. I truly don't believe they understand the character.
No.
Go ahead.
No, it's Charlotte going to, hey, Vince, we're going to do it this way. And you're going to like it. And
Here's
he
the,
is.
here's the thing. Charlotte's going to the Hall of Fame one day.
yes.
She's not as great as her father, but she's one of the best women's wrestlers I've ever seen. Charlotte, there is my compliment to you, because I want to just throw this out there, in case, as the show grows and she eventually hears all the shit I've said about her.
Yeah.
I'm going to always preface it, whatever the word is, my Charlotte comments with that, because she is great. But, oh my God, when she's not in the title picture, she can't do shit right. Why? You're great.
This is what we have to do to this rivalry right now. And just be done.
We were gonna do this separately, but I'm gonna bring her into this segment because it's
no, pause. Leroy,
What?
we can't do what you just did because it's not a Saudi show.
Oh. Why can't I? But I gotta do
there
that.
we go.
Or,
There we go. That was pretty good.
Or what he said. Awesome. There we go. Oh,
This is
Moving on.
I'm having too much fun.
I
with
can't
this
believe
thing
I'm going to
today.
say
I
this.
don't know.
'cause we were going to get to this later on.
Uh-oh.
Supercross is going to work. You want to know why? Because they can't get shit right with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. And now there's a rumor that when Becky comes back, she'll be on SmackDown. So if that's the case, you need something on Raw. Thank God for Nikki Cross as a superhero. Because what the hell is this women's title picture? Like, this is... I actually have to give AEW credit. And maybe it's more on Britt Baker. She's a believable champion. Rhea Ripley is not a believable champion.
But hold on, pause.
All right.
We're not giving credit to AEW. We're giving credit to Britt Baker.
Britt Baker, yes.
Because AEW ruined her twice.
I'm sure they will do it again.
They shit on Britt Baker twice.
Way before WWE released that video before the pay-per-view.
WWE releasing that video can't be as bad as what AEW's already
yes,
done
yes,
to
yes.
Britt Baker.
So
All
before
right.
we move off of this,
Yeah.
we have to come up with I'm going to call this the Charlotte box. And that is, of course, the
I
match
got a
is
comment
good.
for that, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Calm down.
Yeah, you got to keep your mouth shut
Calm
around
down.
the Charlotte box because El Idolo will get you.
No, I'm worried about the boxer.
But I will
It has
say this.
teeth.
I want to call it the Charlotte box for this reason. Of course she's going to have a good match. It's just not going to make any fucking sense. It's just not going to make any sense.
Well, she was proud of her the way she did it. That's what she said on Monday. The way she disqualified.
Neither one of
Which was a
these
stupid
characters
disqualification.
are baby faces. So like even wrestling fans who want to get into this,
I thought Rhea was.
no.
She really isn't?
Really, she came out, and by the way, what happened on Raw made this even worse because they were like, well, you basically cheated your way out, so we're going to give Charlotte another shot. Oh, my God. What are you... Now you have the two authority figures look like idiots.
So while El Steen works because of the history of those two
Yes.
guys,
Okay, yes.
we had a rhyme with the Mox box.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
The Charlotte harlot doesn't work. I don't want to call that woman a
how
harlot.
about
I don't
this?
think
How
she's a
about this? Ladies and gentlemen,
harlot. She's not a harlot. She's a
ladies
good
and gentlemen,
woman.
a new
No.
segment, the Charlotte Omelet.
There we go.
Oh, my God.
Because the match in the base is good, but the rest is a fucking mess. And it makes no sense.
Then it has
The
a weird
filling
taste.
doesn't make any sense.
It
The
just-
filling
We're just
doesn't
gonna
make
cook
sense.
a really bad omelet,
Oh, my God.
but it's still an omelet, so you can't hate it because it's just
Unfortunately,
insane.
AEW, guess what that
I love
means?
omelets.
A lot of your women's division is going to be into this. It's It's so damn bad.
Will it have a bad taste to it sometimes?
Oh yeah.
They'll be expired eggs.
You put some ketchup on it or something.
No, that ain't
Ketchup,
gonna work.
ketchup
It
ain't
won't
gonna help
even
this.
work.
You can put salt, pepper, and hot sauce, and it will still
Hot sauce?
taste like
Hey,
ass.
you know,
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
if we're gonna
Really?
put something
Good.
on
Oh,
there,
yeah.
yeah.
What kind of hot sauce should we use, Jesse?
I think we should use Haitian Heat, brought to you by Al Sands.
We have never worked so hard for a segue, but there we go.
Damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, for those of you who haven't been listening, we're hoping to have him on the show because we're hoping to
Yes.
also have him as a table at
Yes,
DPW1.
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Al Sands has brought to you the heat of the Haitian Islands, island, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is an island.
It sounded better, the islands, because you know Hawaiian Islands. Haitian heat. Here's some sound bites and facts that we haven't said in a while. 4-week fermentation process. So for those of you who are waiting for your batches, please understand it is a process that is not to be rushed because the quality will be there at all
Yes.
times. 10 different peppers are in there, including 4 of the hottest peppers in the world. The Reaper, the Carolina Reaper, the Ghost, and the Scorpion are all in there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it brings you up, it does not burn you out, and tastes great all at the same time. We never wanted to make something that was hot for no reason. It needed to have a purpose or flavor that would earn you without a worth to it.
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, this sauce, we put that shit on everything.
Yes,
That's
we
my
did.
funny little thing to get out. But once again, this is one of those products that, here's the deal, folks. I don't care how much money you want to offer us. You know, it might sound crazy, but I don't think the show will ever get a Pepsi or Coke sponsorship because I don't drink it. And there's no reason for us to have a sponsorship that the three of us wouldn't agree with. But this is a sponsorship. that,
My
let's be
kids
honest-
would love it because they drink it all
Yeah,
the time.
exactly. But here's the deal, folks.
Might pay for college too.
Yeah,
There
right?
we go.
Here's the deal, folks. This sponsorship, we're not even paid,
No.
but this thing gets a sauce.
Yeah.
And that's all I care about.
Yes.
And he's
because
working
it's
on
damn
they're
good.
working on some
and
barbecue
and folks,
sauce.
coming soon. Also, they have a barbecue sauce,
I'm looking forward to it.
which I cannot wait because here's the deal: every product that they've had, if it's in the ballpark of these products, it's already going to be a home run.
He's
It-
already
it's-
kind of teased a lot of the barbecue sauce is made with what you would make natural hickory with barbecue. So
Yep.
I cannot
And-
wait
and-
for this new
Ladies and
batch.
gentlemen-
I'm still waiting on my
Ladies- yep.
But yeah, people
Haitian Heat on Facebook
Yes.
currently. Amazon store still in the works. There is a phone number on there. You can call and place orders, but yes, as of right now, you'll probably be on a little bit of a back order.
Yeah.
But folks, not many times that I will say a sauce is worth the wait.
Absolutely.
It'll be like nothing you've ever had. And yes, folks, here's the deal: if you're a chili head, there is a hot version.
Yes.
If you're not a chili head, there's the base sauce,
Yep.
which again will give you a nice spice. But you think it's gonna be one of those spices where you immediately have to grab something for it.
No.
If you give it a little bit of time, you take a nice little bite of of another food that you have, you will still get flavor in it. Everything will be great, folks. It is one of the favorite things that I put on everything. And by the way,
and that's and
you can
another thing
refrigerate
is
it. You
it's
don't have
flavorful,
to.
Yeah.
The flavor only intensifies. It only
Yeah.
gets hotter over time.
Yeah.
Al still has the original batch they started a few years back, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous
right,
sauce.
yes.
But ladies and gentlemen, like we said, Haitian Heat on Facebook. Please go find them. And again, once that Amazon thing comes up, we will be putting that link all over every video we
course,
have.
of course.
Again, thanks to Al for once again. It's a wonderful product, and we love working with it. Thanks
Of
to Al
course.
for even allowing us to be a part of this in
Yes,
any way.
yes.
Even if Al doesn't promote us, we don't care because we will promote something that
Oh God, yes.
that we love. It's
I know he said he's
fantastic.
got some things in the works, but
Yep.
thanks to a lot of you guys even kind of going out there and promoting the sauce. They're working hard to get these batches out to people, so don't worry, they're working hard on it.
But folks, as my father has always said in life, you pay for quality. If you have to wait for quality, I'll wait for quality. I ain't
Definitely.
got a problem with it.
Especially at that price, it's a damn good price.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Leroy, please continue. I'm glad we're getting
Well,
off of
there we
Charlotte
go.
Flair. to
Next
something
match.
good.
All right, the final
Jesse's
match.
blood pressure might be. You know, Jesse, you're not a fan of his, but you and Cornette on a podcast might be one of the funniest things.
It
ever
really
hit the
might be
internet.
like he might
be
get a
entertaining.
million because it's
Yeah.
just like,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
these two guys are going at it. It's been an hour. Somebody's gonna die.
just my blood pressure.
Yeah.
counts.
All right, the
All right.
last Hell in a Cell match, and that is if Drew lost, he would not be able to
Challenge.
challenge Bobby for the title.
By the way,
And
folks.
Bobby did win.
We all do know Roman Reigns was granted vacation time. That's why they did the Hell in a Cell early. But I think it made this match even more great.
Yes.
in my opinion.
And it
was-
there would have been no reason for him and Ray to actually, and because it really
Exactly.
wasn't a feud that they built very
Yeah.
very long on.
Yeah.
on SmackDown.
Anyway, yes.
But yeah, I mean, Drew was not successful in and,
The
and
only
did not get the win.
the only criticism I have
yeah.
The ending.
is you literally created a spot where all Bobby had to do was put in the Hurt Lock. Drew didn't have to tap out. He could have passed out.
Again, yeah.
Because
Yep.
the Hurt Lock is devastating. And by the
Yeah.
way, we've seen Drew lose to the Hurt Lock before.
At WrestleMania, he passed out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like it wasn't already there. But again, other than that, I have nothing wrong with this because it was two big guys working Hell in a Cell.
Wait, here we go. By the way, we need to record this at some point for your soundboard, but it's two big meaty men slapping meat. Just two slathery, sweaty men slapping the hell out of each other. Just slapping the meat.
I don't know.
So good.
I don't know if I want that to sound good, but you know what? You know what? Why not? And,
Well, I kind of I should go find that, steal it.
yeah, we'll do it.
It's our own and put it in the intro music. Just
Trademark it. It's ours.
Yeah.
put it in the intro. That'd be scary.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's just it. It was two big guys.
Oh, yeah.
They worked like big guys.
The match was awesome.
No one tried to do something that they're not capable
No.
of. I mean, MVP played his role.
Yes.
It was great. It actually surprisingly led to a good Hell in a Cell match on Raw of all places. Surprisingly, that didn't overdo it for me.
Yeah, they did that very well.
But no, overall pay-per-view was great.
Yeah.
I actually had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
It was a good pay-per-view.
one. Oh yeah, it definitely. is.
We move on now to the Raw title picture. Where does it go now that Drew is technically on the sideline? Although I think Drew will somehow still be there. He'll just be a now. What's interesting is
I can tell you where it's probably going. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. Now my fear of that, because I don't. It's funny. It's funny. One day the man may whoop my ass, but I actually don't fear him. But my fear of that is the fact that what they did with him when he was Universal Champion, I hated. The reason why it works for Roman is because, the champion doesn't need to wrestle every week. But when he does, you make it special. But he is actually there. Him and Bobby will be a great match if that's what's going to happen.
yeah.
Because I don't think Kofi's going to get the win at Money in the Bank. If that's
Also-
kind of what they've set up.
Also remember,
No, I doubt it.
Bobby came back and he said in an interview,
He
and I
wanted to
quote,
fight Brock Lesnar.
"There was no point in me coming back without a Brock Lesnar
Yeah.
match." And that's a guy who is now the second ever completely black heritage WWE champion,
Yes.
and he's still saying he wants a match with Brock over that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bobby's, I think, one of the few big guys that I think Brock would actually work really well with in a longer match. Him and Drew were fine, but it was short.
I will say this. The way, to me, that it works, and usually SummerSlam is when you start to change your title picture, but for me, here is where it would work.
Yeah.
If he comes back, he does the feud with Bobby, but he is willing to take the L. Because if he's willing to take the L, now that makes Bobby an even more powerful champion.
I agree.
Now the two champions that, to me, are definitely two of the best in the wrestling business.
To me,
Yeah.
I think it's obvious to all of us. Me saying this is not going to shock anybody. I don't think Brock cares about his wrestling legacy at all. But I do think that if you offered Brock enough money for one night, he'd do the job.
That's like Kirk.
Yeah.
That's like Kirk Cousins saying he cares about dying from COVID. I mean, you're not breaking any new ground here. But I will.
If I
say
die,
this.
I die.
Fucking yeah.
To be fair, though,
Why don't you stop
That-
dying in the fourth quarter of games? Anyway,
That's what I say.
I was going to say this,
That's
though.
what I say on a good date
to all
night
the
if I
Packer
die, I
fans
die.
out there, at least we have a quarterback to criticize.
Ooh.
do you though? We will have Zach on my sports talk radio show very, very soon because we will discuss that. But
I'll take Kirk Cousins over Jordan Love. All right.
Yeah,
if you're comparing it to the Packers, then it's not fair.
I do that on
All
a
I
bad
said,
day.
no, you
I thought you were talking about the
No,
Jets.
no.
I was going to say, but do
no,
you?
No. I said Packer fans. I specifically said.
I
but to our
apologize.
but to our Packer fans listening, at least we have a quarterback to criticize.
Yep. They
he's-
love me
and he
over
still
here.
costs less than yours.
He costs way less.
God,
but
yes.
Anyway,
I will say,
yep.
WWE right now, you know what? Two of the better heavyweight champions. I love Karrion Kross a lot. to me, he just doesn't. He doesn't fit NXT,
No,
which
he
is
does
why
not.
he needs to call.
No,
up.
he does not. He went to NXT because I don't think they know exactly how to bring him up yet.
Yeah.
You saw him main event. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's been circulated on the internet, him going to main event. I didn't think it was that bad.
I don't.
Was
think
it the level of what he gets in NXT?
No.
But was it as flat and bad as everyone was saying? No.
Listen,
I don't think it was.
By the way, people, they're not coming up completely until after SummerSlam, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But
And they might split him up.
and yes,
I
they
hope
might
not.
split him and Scarlett up.
Where you put Scarlett without him if she's not going to wrestle, I don't know though. It's an interesting thing.
Well, and they apparently Vince wants her to wrestle, so
yeah,
if they'll have to work out the kinks so that they have a couple months.
yeah.
But WWE has two of the best world heavyweight champions in the business. It's hard to dispute that. Like I said, the only one I kind of put in between them right now is Shingo because I gotta admit,
You got love for Shingo.
Shingo's proving everything that we thought of him 6 years ago. He's astonishing, and also I would be remiss if I don't mention Nick Aldis. If you want to talk about
Yes.
a guy who, if he wasn't in NWA,
Yep.
if he was pulled to WWE when his
Yeah.
wife was there, I think Bruce is like, yeah, we got to put the title on him. The guy just knows how to represent
Yep.
a championship well.
Yeah, he
From
does,
one
definitely.
title picture to another one.
But I was gonna say this really quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
After SummerSlam, I think we'll have a better picture of the heavyweight division
On Raw.
on Raw
Yeah.
because right now, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
From one title picture to the next,
Mm-hmm.
Edge came back, loved it. Allison thought it was weird that he talked to the hard camera, but you needed to because then Roman will watch that back. Storyline wise,
Some people think maybe because maybe what they figured out in the back was Roman was just going to go all the way to the back.
Yeah.
So he talked to the hard camera.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it did look a little weird. Like, damn, you didn't even look at him. But I actually thought it was cool because
but that's always been Edge anyway. Even if the opponent was out there, Edge always just wanted to get those crazy eyes of the camera.
Yeah.
That was always Edge's thing. So
Yeah,
that's
oh,
not
yeah.
weird to me. But no, Edge came back, great fanfare. Edge doesn't need more titles. He doesn't even care.
it's already
Ed-
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Edge flat out I think is a great transition to a Roman Seth feud.
Yes.
Edge is going to do a great job with those
Yeah.
guys. He also has creative control and wanted to work with Seth.
Yes.
So it'll be quick with Seth, but it's going to be great with Seth.
Yes.
Now to the Money in the Bank qualifying. Leroy, who has qualified so far from Money in the Bank?
Oh God, you asked me that question.
Well,
I got
Which one?
We
I
have
got the names
Ricochet.
for you.
We
I
have
got the
Ricochet.
names. So
Yep.
it's Ricochet.
We got Ricochet.
we have Ricochet.
It on SmackDown this week. It was Big E.
Yep.
I was shocked they only did one for SmackDown so far.
SmackDown's
but
got a few more things.
I'm about to
yeah.
say there's probably some surprises coming.
Yep.
There's also
There's also
my guy
You
Matt
also have
Riddle.
to realize we're gonna have an El Steen match where the winner goes to Money in the Bank, but it's last man standing gets to go to Money in the Bank. So
Yeah.
that'll be something.
Randy Orton, AJ Styles.
I missed a lot of SmackDown this past week because of some errands to run. I'm looking Alice in the face and saying we are not missing Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn last man standing. It's not happening. I will not miss it.
I will say this: it might be the first time in the Roman storyline where something that they do is not in the main. It will be the second time,
Yeah.
where it's not the main event,
Right.
Because of course the Aleister Black return originally was in the main event.
Yeah.
I will say this for the qualifiers so far.
Yep.
I like the picture because it's John Morrison, Ricochet,
Yep.
Matt Riddle, and Big E.
Yep.
I think.
And by the way, I hate to say it, I'm surprised. Matt Riddle has the most compelling story going in because Randy's just selling this like it's a
Oh, God,
goddamn
yes.
field day.
Rated
RK Bro.
which
RK
is what-
Bro,
which
baby.
is what I've been calling
RK
it.
Bro.
Has been one of the best storylines on Raw.
It's been so
in a
good.
long time.
And Randy actually, and everyone's like, Randy's not interested. No, Randy's plain not
He's-
interested. Randy's into this shit.
Randy's doing a great job because he actually does care.
Yeah.
So he's playing the story like he doesn't, but he
Yep.
actually does. And
Oh, it's so
it
good.
was so good.
I'm loving it. Okay. We're real quick before we get to our last big thing here. Who you got in the last chance triple threat?
It's going to either be Randy or it's going to be Drew. Now Drew would be weird. Now what I liked on Raw is that they said if Drew wins, he actually can't challenge Bobby.
No. Hold on. The beauty of Drew is he either goes to SmackDown or think about this. He can't challenge Bobby Lashley.
But he can always make Bobby worry about him screwing him out of the title like Bobby screwed
But
him.
can you imagine Drew walking around with that case, always being in Bobby's business? And if Bobby, and think about this, all Drew has to do is screw Bobby behind the referee's back. Someone pins him, and let's be honest, if the opponents have gone through a lot because it's Bobby, and then Drew just claymores him.
Yeah.
The story can actually write itself.
Because, of course, AJ is
Who
going
you got?
to be embedded in the
Yep.
tag team.
Yeah.
Who you got, Leroy?
Well-
No, Leroy. Who you got? We already got
The
the
triple
names.
threat.
Yeah, Jesse rattled off all the names. He was bad.
Yeah.
That wasn't fair to Leroy. He did, we didn't tell him to have the
Well,
names.
yeah. Well, I said they got a few. Having Drew doing that. Having the Randy Orton twist in there with Riddle.
Yeah.
Will be
No,
interesting.
no. I think it's gonna.
but with
I
Drew
think it's
walking
gonna.
around
I
with
think
that-
it's gonna be so much. No, not who wins the case. Who's winning that match? But here's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't think Randy's winning because I think that you will make Riddle so much more of a character going into the match if Randy's not in there.
But if
Okay,
he's
all right.
here's the compelling story though. If Randy gets in,
It'll work either way.
I think there's a chance they accidentally cost each other the briefcase because someone's got to climb that thing and win.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now you can have a cool moment where they meet at the top, and Randy's just like, "Kid, get down."
All
Like,
right.
I think
Because I know they still got
Yeah.
that one, and then we got KO and
Yep.
Sami Zayn again.
Not missing that.
Plus 2 more to be determined.
I think
there.
it'll be Seth versus Cesaro one more time. I
Yep.
think Cesaro will get in.
Yep.
And if Cesaro gets in, he's my favorite.
Yep.
Because, like I said, I have to believe that they probably want to put this on him because they still have big plans for
Oh, yeah,
him.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Then
All
for
right.
then for the ladies, because we got to remember the
Yes.
ladies.
Yes.
Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and Carmella.
I do.
Plus 3.
Naomi got in, huh?
3 more.
I do like that Naomi isn't just being dropped because
continued.
Lana's no longer there. Anal, sorry.
About to say, don't ever call her Lana. It's anal.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because YouTube already likes this. Anyway, all right. The women's match, Carmella's always an X factor because she's won it
Yes.
twice. It's great to have her in there for that. Naomi, I think, would be interesting to have it because Naomi's character being so.
Liv Morgan, too. They must have
No.
not put her in there, but Liv Morgan
No,
did qualify.
that. Yeah, they don't have her in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that
They-
could be the other 2 determined.
This
They don't
women's
have
match-
that in there, but they
This
actually,
women's match is just going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be a theatrical version. It's going to be an actual match. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
They
I
don't-
would not be shocked if they don't tell us the last entrant because it's Becky Lynch.
Well, it's
Because
funny.
what a way to come back to her
That would
giving
be.
up
right?
That
the
would be,
title.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny they don't have Liv Morgan in there, but they
If
have.
she goes to SmackDown and I'm at SmackDown in Minneapolis, Allison ain't coming home.
No, but they actually have Roman Edge on Wikipedia booked for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has never
they should,
been
yeah.
officially announced, but it's
Yeah,
in there
was, so
already,
it was on Talking Smack on
Yeah,
Saturday.
was Talking-
it was on
okay,
Talking
yeah.
Smack.
Yeah.
All right, so from one title picture to the next to the Money in the Bank, we're now going to end with and this should be the last topic because it ended the best show of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Diamond Mine has been opened, and I don't
Yes.
think any of us had an idea what this was going to be. And
Here's
for
the
great-
best tease Triple H has ever done. So
Yeah.
they did the show. They did the Diamond Mine.
Yep.
And he said, who said there's only 4 members in this group? So, of course, people who are wondering who's the Japanese dude in the
Technically,
in
there's
the
only
group.
3.
So people
There's
are wondering.
3 people, yes.
So people are
I love
wondering.
Bivens as a mouthpiece.
Yeah,
So I love Bivens as a
Here's the
mouthpiece.
thing. So Suzuki actually might not be an active wrestler.
Yes.
In that crew.
Yeah, right.
He actually might be the coach.
Right.
Of that crew. There actually could be 2 more members.
I don't-
That they just haven't shown yet.
I don't hate Tyler Rust. I think he's got a lot of potential there. I just think you had to put him
Well-
somewhere for right now.
Well, and here's the thing. Because Roddy doesn't really need him. I don't think Roddy needs a mouthpiece, especially not when he's a heel. He's one of the best.
No.
swarming heels.
But here's the deal.
But Tyler needed a mouthpiece.
Right. But
Yeah.
here's the deal. The beauty of this is it's Roddy continuing the UE thing. That's what kind of got him out.
Yeah.
But he comes back with a new UE. But what this helps is you're going to see a guy like Rust, who's rusty, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Tyler Rust is going to be there. Suzuki could be a coach. Bivens, Bivens is a smarmy,
Hell of a mouthpiece.
hell of a mouthpiece. Maybe someone else, but Roddy is going to be able to stand out. The
Yeah.
problem with UE was nobody stood out as a great wrestler because they're all phenomenal.
But there was
Yeah.
a standout. It was clearly Adam Cole.
But that was because of Cole's personality
Yeah.
as opposed to the wrestling, because they're all great talents.
Yeah.
But Roddy is really going to shine as a talent overall because I love Roddy. He ain't Cole.
well,
no,
He's
no, he's
barely Kyle O'Reilly.
not. Yeah.
But Roddy is going to shine with these guys